Welcome to one of the rowdiest environments in college baseball. Game 3 and a special Monday night tap. Number 5, North Carolina in town. East Carolina, two of the best programs in the state. Over the last 10 years, this place an expected sellout at Clark LeClaire Stadium. And anytime Carolina and ECU do battle, it's a fun night here in Greenville, North Carolina. Thanks for joining us for this special Game 3 of a second weekend series with a legend in Greenville, Mike Mullis. I'm EvanBudrovich. 2 early wins for Carolina, clutch hitting for the Tar Heels late in the series. What does this playoff preview mean for both teams moving forward?
You know, it's been an interesting kind of tale of two cities. Game 1, both teams a little quiet offensively. Game 2, both teams came around a little bit. So we'll see what this plays out. This is certainly a regional atmosphere this early in the season.
Hunter Stokely's provided a huge punch for Carolina in the first 2 games. 5 hits in the series, and what an impact in the heart of the order.
You know, Stokely, a guy that looks like he's going to just drive the ball out of the park at will, is a guy that really controls the barrel, uses the opposite side of the field as well as anybody that we've seen to date this season. So a guy that's super interesting to watch and has had a great series to this point.
7 new faces in the Pirate order, including Alex Boucher. He found his power offense over the weekend, carrying the Pirates offensively.
Yeah, you see the 238 average there. That's up. He spiked that in the last couple of days, had a couple knocks yesterday, and obviously the big home run. So, yeah, Boucher seems to be coming to life and is a big part of the opportunity for the Pirates.
Game 3 on tap for this special second weekend series. Pirates, Tar Heels in a loaded Clark LeClaire Stadium. When we come back on ESPN+. Welcome back to Greenville, the biggest ticket in town here at ECU. Pirates hosting North Carolina. It's been a battle of pitching in Game 1 on Saturday. Game 2, the bats came to play. And so for Cliff Godwin, who's 1 win shy of 400 here in his Pirate tenure, he goes with a young arm. 20 freshmen on this Pirate team. Bradley Zayak, maybe their highest rated recruit, gets the ball. Was really good in his debut. 3 in the 3rd innings, Mike. How did they get more out of that today from Bradley?
You know, it's one of those things. The 3 in the 3rd win that outing in Game 2 against George Mason, where he was very effective, 1 walk over his outing there. And quite honestly, if he ran out of pitches before he was ineffective, it was one of the deals where early in the season, everybody's kind of counting pitches and making sure guys stay healthy. So, yeah, Zayak's a guy that will compete on the mound. Again, a true freshman. Really good stuff, 3-pitch guy. You'll see him get it into the low to mid-90s. And, again, a guy who, to this point at least, has shown the ability to command the zone and work himself ahead with hitters.
An ECU pitching staff that replaces over 70% of its innings from a year ago. Big task for Austin Knight, the pitching coach. That hasn't been the problem for the Pirates this year. Meanwhile, for Carolina, a slow start offensively in terms of power from last year's College World Series team. But Alex Madera moves from second to short, brings a lot of stability to this offense.
You know, two key things happened in yesterday's game. Luke Stevenson got hot, right? The home run, the first 3-run job. And then Tyson Bass, the youngster, I say youngster, he's a senior transfer from North Carolina Wesleyan and played for John Smith down the road at Wilson Hunt High School. Bass kind of started to figure it out yesterday with 2 big knocks. So 2 big parts of that offensive lineup for Carolina kind of figured it out.
11 runs in yesterday's game for Coach Scott Forbes. This was a series the Pirates won 2 of 3 a year ago. Carolina's clinched the series yesterday. You look at this lineup and a lot of new faces for East Carolina. Dixon Williams, Kobe Wallace, the returners. They like Peltier's speed in center. He made a great diving catch in Chapel Hill. And then Walker Barron, the first-year starter behind the plate.
You know, a few things stand out to me there, Ev. Alex Peltier yesterday had the best day to have nothing to show for it. Had 3 balls he hit really hard, no hits on the day. Walker Barron has put together really tough at-bats. He, too, had the big home run. And then it's going to be really interesting to see what Dixon Williams can kind of cobble together as he tries to bring his season back on track.
This place is ready to rock and roll tonight. Warm temperatures, which is always good news. No snow in the forecast. And a Pirate team that's been desperate for a good performance. They lost their midweek last week against Campbell. Showed some great signs on the mound. As Cliff Godwin noted yesterday, really good at-bats in the first 2 games of the series. Still looking to get healthy. One of the top returning starters. Riley Johnson still making his way back in the outfield. But this young Pirate roster, they're trying to find their form here in Game 3.
You know what's funny is you mentioned no snow in the forecast. And people that don't follow Eastern North Carolina weather closely are going, man, has he lost his mind? It has been terrible here, and we are so happy. Matter of fact, the reason we're playing on Monday night is this was a skating rink on Friday.
Good news, no ice skating, no Four Nations Cup, but it feels that way when a Carolina and an East Carolina team get after it. And let's get this party started. Kane Kepley leads things off for Coach Scott Forbes. And here's Bradley Zayak's first pitch. He can touch the mid-90s at times with that heater. Very effective against George Mason. And faces a good bat in Kepley, who was All-Conference USA a year ago at Liberty, transferring in.
Yeah, he was one that when Scott Jackson came over, he was not going to leave him behind to make sure to bring him with him. Kepley is an absolute spark plug in this lineup, plays a great center field, and has been a guy that has done some things for these Heels.
Over 150 starts in Kepley's tenure. Bring up a great point as he pops up the 1-1. Irby in foul ground on a bright night here in Greenville. Backpedals nicely for the first out.
You know, that's an underappreciated play, Ev. That ball gets up. You got a little bit of wind swirling. We've seen it more out to right than anything. But moreover, you got the high sky and the big sun over there. Irby does a nice job to battle it and corral the first out.
It's all about the Oakleys. Whenever they look good with the Pantone colors, it's very important. Speaking of colors, how about these Carolina blue road outfits for the Tar Heels? First true road game of the year for Scott Forbes' club. And Alex Madera, the veteran captain at shortstop, takes strike 1. Madera, a neat path in his grad year from Arcadia. He was an All-American at the D3 level his last 3 years. And then last year at Carolina, consistent starter at second base. Fills some huge shoes of Colby Wilkerson, the All-ACC shortstop. But Madera's done a great job, not only defensively, but anchoring this order. Zayak's 1-1. We'll test him up and in.
You know, you see it with Madera, and again, we mentioned Bass earlier, where the Heels are not afraid to bring up a high-achieving Division III or lower Division tier program player into their program, and it's paid huge dividends.
Well, that mirrors Scott Forbes' resume from NC Wesleyan, and of course, the longtime assistant here at Carolina takes the job last year as the full-time coach. He gets the Tar Heels back to Omaha.
A Hall of Famer at North Carolina Wesleyan.
Great point. The Battling Bishops, if you're watching, good perspective. Here's the 3-1. Madera just late on that one after a 2-run and a hit performance yesterday. There's Coach Forbes anchoring the third base line. 48 wins a year ago for the Tar Heels. One of the better first-year coaches. Granted, a long-time assistant, but big impact in year 1. Here's Zayak's 3-2. This is smoke to second. Dixon Williams is there.
Lineouts are outs, right? Just throw them and let them hit it where they are. And Dixon Williams in perfect position. You know, a big part of the conversation, always something I get asked a lot about, is how East Carolina and Carolina, a lot of the college teams play the shift. And how many times it gets beat as opposed to how many times it's hit right into. There's an example of Dixon Williams standing right on the X and catches the line drive hit right at him.
Williams grew up right here in Greenville, North Carolina. There's a handful of players from both teams that have Pitt County ties, and we'll touch on that tonight. It's not just an interstate matchup, it is an inter-city battle here in Greenville, North Carolina. And this is Luke Stevenson, the standout catcher, a possible first-round pick coming up in the summer. And a name you keep your eye on in this ACC conference, Jacob Ferenz of Virginia, and then Luke Stevenson, two of the best behind the dish in the ACC. Zayak challenges with 92 and gets ahead 0-2.
You know, if you circle a guy, as far as the Pirates go, you circle a guy in the Tar Heel lineup, you're like, hey, we're not going to let this guy beat us. Luke Stevenson's going to be that guy, like you said, depending on who you talk to, could be a top 5 overall pick, definitely a first or high second round pick, but a really, really talented player.
Zayak goes heat and stays up. We noted the lack of power for the Tar Heels this year, just one home run. Well, Luke, he kicked things off with a 3-run shot yesterday, helping Carolina secure an 11-6 win. They earned the series last night. And here's the 1-2. First look at the changeup there for Zayak.
You know, the big push for Stevenson going into this year was to cut down on some of the swing and miss. And yesterday's home run was a breaking ball with 2 strikes that you could tell it was a reactionary type situation where he wasn't going to let the fastball beat him. Got out a little bit in front of the breaking pitch, but hit a line drive out to right field.
The at-bat continues on 1-2. And this has been a bugaboo for the Pirates, pitching in the zone with 2 strikes, having some high pitch counts the last 2 games.
Yeah, yesterday, 9-10 walks in that game. And, you know, baseball's such a cruel sport. Your hitters finally show up and your pitchers let you down a little bit. So trying to find the middle ground today.
Austin Knight's pitching staff was among the top 25 in the country in ERA and K to walk ratio a year ago. But we noted over 75% of those innings, first-round pick, Trey Savage gone. Second starter, Zach Root, now in the SEC. There's some big shoes to fill. A lot of confidence in this true freshman, Zayak. On 3-2, stays up, and the inning continues.
You know, when one of the most frustrating things in the world for a coach and a team is a 2-out walk, right? A 2-out freebie. You'd rather let them hit their way home. That one gets up and away. And, you know, the trend with college baseball right now, Ev, is the top of the zone, right? They look at spin rate and how does that affect where pitches are thrown. So the top of the zone is where you'll see a lot of these guys try to collect those outs. That one just got away from Zayak and missed a little arm side high.
So the inning continues with 2 outs. Tyson Bass was part of a loaded class of transfers following a long-time history of his head coach, Scott Forbes, another battling Bishop, NC Wesleyan player coming in. A grad transfer right here in the state of North Carolina. Zayak to the plate and a swing and a miss from Bass, the starting right fielder tonight for Carolina.
You know, with Bass, big power numbers last year, 21 or 22 home runs, I don't remember exactly, but could run the ball out of the park, takes a big swing. The positive for him is yesterday we saw him hit 2 balls to the right side, which is an improvement in the approach.
He had 48 career home runs in his D3 career at NC Wesleyan. He takes a slider low and away. This is a Carolina team that a year ago was pretty aggressive, 83 steals on the bases. Scott Forbes likes the situational hitting of this year's team, not as power-driven with the Vance Honeycutts, the Casey Cooks of the world, but a little more situational. Just 1 home run in these first 2 games. As the 1-1 goes past Zayak, Williams in position to end the inning. 1 walk and a man left on in the Young Arms debut here in Greenville. East Carolina to the plate when we return on ESPN+. Back to Greenville, North Carolina, a new arm coming in after a great junior season. Aiden Hawk gets the ball for the Tar Heels. He was the 16th round pick for the Twins, elected to return for his final season. Largely a bullpen arm a year ago and now inserted into the starting role.
Yeah, Hawk, another one of these guys that the Tar Heels just keep rolling them out there, right? Quality starter after quality starter that have gotten just enough seasoning to not be considered quote-unquote new guys, right? So, I mean, Hawk's another one of these guys, super high-profile arm that seems like the Tar Heel bullpen is just full of.
DeCaro did his part earlier in the series, and then Jake Knapp got the ball yesterday. Hawk gets the ball after a good outing, 3 innings and a doubleheader sweep. How can you not love Valentine's Day baseball? 14 innings and 2 wins over a nice Big 12 program. Well,
you know, what a luxury to be able to run Folger Boaz out of your bullpen, and he comes in yesterday and just basically shuts the door on the Pirates, pitched extremely well. So, you know, a guy that was a weekend front end of the rotation kind of guy a year ago before having a little arm issue. But, yeah, like I said, you know, this Hills club just keeps rolling them out there.
That's the arm for Scott Forbes' lineup. And here's Cliff Godwin starting 9. We noted just 2 returners. Dixon Williams, a big part of that. And a good start for Keenan Bowman, getting the left field position tonight for the Pirates.
You know, you see up there the 250 average, and that's one of the most tainted numbers in all of baseball, maybe in all of sports, batting average. Again, the guy leading off here, Alex Peltier, true freshman center fielder, can really run, is a good player, and absolutely scorched 3 balls yesterday with nothing to show for it. On the QAB chart, he shows up as a hero. As it relates to the scoreboard, he's a 0.
To your point, it's been an up-and-down offensive series for the Pirates. Shutout on Saturday. Put up 6 runs and have some chances late to tie that game in Chapel Hill, but fell 11-6. Now we get things started with a swing and a miss on 93 from Hawk.
I'm sure Peltier's thinking, listen, I'm due for like 3 cheapies today, like an infield single, maybe a little, duck fart over the second baseman's head, something. I'm due a break.
Like any Cliff Godwin lineup, it's loaded with 7 hit-by pitches, 16 walks in the first 6 games. This Pirate team was top 10 in the country and getting plunked a year ago. It's part of the DNA of the Cliff Godwin program. And Peltier right there, blasts one to the left. After a rough Sunday, he gets a nice start to Monday night.
Again, I kind of keep talking about this and harping on it. He is just a solid player. And guys' approach seems very consistent. You see here, the breaking ball kind of hangs up a little bit. He does a great job of keeping his hands back in a hidden position and just drives the ball into left field.
So a leadoff man on for East Carolina. An East Carolina offense that would love to get Riley Johnson back, making his way from a shoulder injury. And looking to fill some voids offensively. Here's where Kalinick could play a factor. That one stays high.
Yeah, Kalinick, another freshman out of Florida, catcher. Look at just carries himself at the plate like a guy that's a little bit older than he is. And in times past, we would fully expect to see a Cliff Godwin-led offense lay a bunt down here. Seems to be allowing a little more free swinging this year to see if they can create the bigger inning.
Kalinick takes strike 1. Michael in the DH role for an offense that through 6 games hasn't found its stride just yet. That's a lot of teams in college baseball going through these early phases. Hawk to the plate. Good scoop by Stevenson back there.
To your point about early college offense, it seems to have either been feast or famine for a lot of teams. We've seen a 17-run inning. We've seen William and Mary score 22 and get run ruled. So it's kind of up and down. Typically this time of the year, pitching dominates hitting.
And we saw Maryland Eastern short snap a 55-game losing streak this weekend.
Yeah, congratulations.
Townsend. Great for that program to get back in the win column. An RBI double for Kalinick early in this series. He's 2 for 8 thus far. That body type, that left-handed approach, that is prototypical of a Cliff Godwin offense. As his throw is scooped out by Hunter Stokely.
Yeah, had Peltier leaning a little bit. He kind of took a little double step to make his way back to first base. So, this, again, although they're not bunting, fully expect anything at any time with this Pirate club.
Another pick to first. And unlike the pro game, you could have unlimited attempts over there. 73 steals a year ago for this Pirate offense. That's where Riley Johnson's impact will be missed tonight. 23 steals. Here's the 2-2. Runners hold, and there's a base hit the opposite way. Coach Palumbo pushing it third. And a bang play in there. Good base running from Peltier.
You know, a good piece of hit there by Kalinic. Stays with that ball. Again, doesn't try to do too much. Drives it into left field. But a even better job by Peltier seeing that ball down. Aggressive turn at second base. Goes into third base. And the Pirates have a little something working. First and third with none.
Yeah, longtime assistant Jeff Palumbo working the third base bag tonight. His 11th year. He's been every step of the way with Cliff Godwin, who's one win away from 400 in his Pirate tenure. With a sold-out crowd, that makes for even more interesting storylines with a number 5 team in the country coming to town. Now it's Austin Irby, the first baseman, as he takes one inside. First inning, nobody out. Does small ball play a factor?
Well, you know, I was sitting here thinking this is, you know, when you're down there at third base, you got no outs. You're thinking first and third's kind of the like red zone of football, right? You gotta score here, and you'd like to find a way to get a couple. So we'll see what they do.
Good strike response from Hawk, who was very efficient in just 50 pitches in those 3 innings last Friday on Valentine's Day.
I'll tell you the other thing that figures in, Irby's got a little juice to the pull side, and you got that flag kind of pushing out to right. Kind of a small park out there tonight in right field.
Yeah, 15-mile-an-hour gusts going to right as that slider stays down. No swing, says third base umpire Joe Holt today. Because those shadows right now are brutal for a hitter.
Yeah, Irby, another one of those really talented freshmen you see not even close there, and Tar Heels were hoping to buy a strike there. But Irby, another one of those really talented guys that just seems to be kind of growing up right in front of us. And again, he's a guy that can leave this park in a hurry.
The true freshman off the end of the bat. This could be troublesome. Vanderbrake makes the play, and the Pirates score first.
Yeah, and you see the little fist pump there by Irby, knowing he got the job done. And you know, actually the perfect miss right there, right? It's his kind of, if you're playing golf, you go, well, that's as good as a good one. He gets it off the end of the bat, just enough to stay out of the double play, advance the runner to second, and score the run. So a big AB there by Herbs.
A rare lead in this series for East Carolina, but an important start for a team that does live on small ball situational hitting. A program that replaces 7 starters from a year ago, including the power of Carter Cunningham, a 17-home run hitter, Jacob Jenkins-Coward, a Player of the Year caliber outfielder, and Dixon Williams, the one returner, with a big swing and a miss.
You know, the Hills have pitched Dixon in all series, and the catcher was set up away. Stevenson it got across the plate, but it seems that has been their philosophy to this point. Let's see if they'll stay with it.
Now the 0-1 to the Greenville native Dixon Williams, who stays up. His biggest swing in a Pirate uniform was right here in a similar matchup. Regional play against Wake Forest, hit one over the scoreboard against Chase Burns, knocked him out of the game. And the Pirates eliminated Wake in that regional. He sits in now with a 174 clip awaiting this pitch. As Hawk misses up.
Little cat and mouse here. First pitch, again, missed the spot in, and now they've gone up and away twice. Let's see where they go at Dixon. I know he'd love to break out.
A difficult 15 pitches early for senior arm Aiden Hawk, who goes change up that time to change it up.
And if you're Scott Forbes and the staff of the Tar Heels, you still have to respect the pop that Dixon Williams does have. We've seen him hit a ball top of the scoreboard. We've seen him hit a ball over the hitter's eye, so some legitimate pop in the bat.
Williams stays inside. It's a 3-2 count. To your point, 9 career home runs for the junior hitter, who's the top-ranked draft prospect among juniors here in the American Conference. $5,000 engaged here before the payoff pitch. And Williams takes strike 3.
That's a tough one. Looked like it might have been down just a little bit to me. I know the folks at home at happy hour are screaming at that one, and Have to agree. Looked maybe a touchdown, but maybe early in the game we'll get that one back a little bit later on. But
well, it certainly shows as a hitter perspective what Steve Sanders is willing to call tonight.
Yeah, I mean if he's going to stay with it, right, you'll take it all night, but it's got to be there for both sides.
Here's Keenan Bowman, redshirt freshman coming in, who did not play during his first year. Takes a slider for a strike.
Yeah, he's one of these Pirates, a multifaceted kind of the Swiss Army knife kind of guy, like we like to say, but he's a guy that has played infield and outfield, playing more outfield this year.
Hawk on 0-1, nibbles the top of the zone. One area for the Tar Heels has been efficient innings in the first 6 games for UNC. Right now, though, Hawk in a bit of trouble, 20 pitches and counting.
I was wondering if he was going to try that low strike out there again, just see if plate umpire will give it to him. That one a little too far off.
Kalinic with good speed at second. And now Bowman in a bit of a hole. Did he go on that slider? Looks like no, according to Sanders. 2-out hits have been a bugaboo of ECU in this series. They've stranded 20 runners in the first 2 games.
You know, we go back to last year, that was their calling card. The damage they did with 2 outs was incredible.
Led the AAC in 2-out hits last year, over 50 of them. Here's the 2-2, and he goes down swinging. Good sweeper to end the inning. Pirates, though, score 1 on the RBI fielder's choice, and a quick start offensively for both clubs. Top of the second we go in Greenville. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina. Scott Forbes with a long tenure at UNC, 24 seasons with Mike Fox, and now taking over as the ACC Coach of the Year. One thing Carolina's done well is come in via the grad transfer portal, upgrading the roster across the infield, and this team is good as any here at UNC. You
know what they've done, what's very hard to do in the modern day of college athletics, and they've managed to get old and stay old through either, homegrown products or through acquisitions, for lack of a better way to put it. But one of the really, really good guys in the game, Coach Scott Forbes.
78% of the offense is upperclassmen here for UNC. And it all gets started with Hunter Stokely, who's been scintillating hot on the weekend. 5 for 8. And look at that sun. That is no fun as a hitter here to start the second inning. Exhibit A on that swing.
Yeah, we saw Irby between innings just playing toss, and shortstop goes to throw one over, and Irby just completely loses in that sun. So hopefully it'll be down behind the trees here shortly, but it is certainly a factor here for this half an inning.
That does not look fun as a hitter or as a defender. We even saw players in warm-up, like first baseman, having trouble seeing the ball coming out from the third base side.
We kind of alluded to it in the open. Stokely is such a good hitter, handler of the bat, driving the ball the other way. so far you've seen Zayak work him in just to try to eliminate him getting those arms extended and giving him the opportunity to drive the ball into the left center gap. We saw him do it yesterday numerous times.
An efficient 19-pitch first inning for Zayak. And Stokely goes opposite field. Left fielder a bit late on it. This is gone. Second home run of the series for Hunter Stokely. A little Oppo Taco to kick off the Monday night.
You know, for a guy that, you kind of talk about the quote-unquote lack of power, that's it. That's the pitch right there. Zayak tried to bury it in. We'll see it here again in a second, and just gets a little bit of life back over the plate. He does such a nice job of staying inside of the baseball. You'll see it here. Fastball, just a life back to the white part of the plate, and he doesn't try to, again, do too much. Just gets the barrel on it and drives it just out of the park. I think it may have even hit the top of the wall.
The exit velo was fantastic. That was a bullet off the bat of Stokely. Only hit 6 home runs as a junior, but his bat has come on to life here in year 5. Good two-seam fastball to get things started.
You know, you can see the difference in philosophy by the defensive alignment here. The Pirates are all staying kind of back or way back, whereas when the Pirates are there offensively, they're taking away and respecting the bunt. So Carolina, not a team that historically has done a lot of small ball.
That's a 1-1 count. Zayak surrenders his first home run of the year. And in the game last year in this building, it was 10-9 with 4 home runs and a walk-off hit. They expect plenty more dramatics tonight as there's a base hit. And back-to-back knocks for the Tar Heels.
Well, Zayak just needs to get himself settled. He's 1 pitch away from having 2 outs. If he can get a little ground ball double play here, what you don't want to do is let this thing compound. You gave up the solo job. That's okay. Reset the inning. Play it as though it's a fresh inning. It's a tie ball game. This is a big moment for the young freshman.
Kellis with the base hit there. And here's Sam Angelo, the DH. He fills the gigantic shoes of Alberto Ozuna, a 20 home run hitter in his career. And Angelo looks to get his bat rolling in the DH spot today. That pitch gets away from Barron. And good base running from the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I'm going to be surprised if somebody doesn't go out and kind of calm the young freshman here, not necessarily out of the dugout, but somebody just kind of little breath of fresh air, because Angelo's another guy that has absolute pop. Had 15 home runs last year, and a guy that
and that's not on the catcher. That's a spike pitch.
No, that's right. That's a wild pitch.
Luke McChrystal did a lot of the work back behind the plate a year ago. Pirates have had great success at the catching position in Cliff Godwin's tenure. And Barron, that next generation.
I'll tell you what they have done. They have consistently had really good arms behind the plate, and Barron no exception. And like I said earlier, he's really blossomed himself into a pretty good offensive threat.
Angelo takes outside in a 3-0 count. Sam, part of that pipeline, a D2 transfer, Montclair State, who played his home games at Yogi Berra Stadium. Think about that perspective for an All-American at the D2, D3 level as Montclair moves up to Division II this year. And looking up this morning, Montclair State adding varsity flag football in the fall.
That's a big push. North Carolina High School Athletic Association has ratified rules to kind of unify that sport or make it the same level playing field. So that's a up-and-coming sport.
Yeah, girls flag football is a great watch here in the state. We have a quick timeout. Meeting of the pitching staff. Austin Knight, who we noted in year 6, did a fantastic job last year. Top 25 pitching staff. And a quick chat with his young freshman.
And this is that effort to kind of calm him down, see if he can get him a little deeper into this outing. All's not lost. Runners on first and second, no out. But the scary part about that, AB, Ev, is there were very few pitches that were even competitive, kind of, spraying it all over the place. So it's, hey, you got to calm down and, find your stuff again, get back into some type of rhythm. I will tell you, for a young pitcher, this is a very dangerous situation against Vanderbrake from the standpoint of Zayak doesn't want to do anything more than throw a strike right now. In the experience of Vanderbrake at the plate, he knows that he could potentially get a quote-unquote, cookie
right
to hit here. So we'll watch this one carefully and see if Zayak can get ahead but not give Vanderbrake anything too good.
Defense positioning here, 2 on, nobody out for Jackson Vanderbrake, the elder statesman in the Carolina order. Breaking ball sneaks in for a strike.
Kind of to our point there, if there's a fastball on that same location, Vanderbrake probably gets off a pretty good swing on it. So good pitch there by Zayak.
The Yakima, Washington native, now in year 4. Over 100 starts in his Carolina tenure. And lays off 1-1. His dad was a minor leaguer in the Phillies organization. His brother Jace was fantastic at Gonzaga. His other brother Justin, a standout at Washington State. And here's the most highly tooled of the Vandebrakes, Jackson, in a 1-1 count. Late on the fastball.
Well, and you know what Vanderbrake needs at this club by that captain C that's on his chest. I mean, he's a guy, again, a senior, kind of a stalwart, has been around the program for a long time, and a guy that they really lean on. He earned the Iron Ram Award a year ago, the hardest worker by the strength and conditioning staff, overcoming a tough year after a great 2023.
And that's a good take as the ball sneaks away. Barron has to grab it, and everyone advances for Carolina.
Yeah, a little bit of a bad read there by the Carolina base runners. The lead base runner kind of took a step, held up, and had to convince himself that it had gotten far enough away. But they are, you see it here, it just kind of scoots and a little indecision, I'm not sure, and then they realize, okay, it's gotten far enough away they can take a shot at it.
So now second and third with nobody out. Here's the 2-2. Vanderbrake to right field. This is shallow. Herring charging, can't make the catch. Base hit, Tar Heels, and a 2-1 lead.
You know, and those two guys advancing to second and third totally changes what has to happen in that at bat. Instead of thinking I've got to have a base hit to score a guy, you literally are just looking to move a ball, get it into the outfield. The infield was playing back, allowing that option. Doesn't get it real well. Herring does all he can to get to it and just barely out of the reach.
That's a position that Jacob Jenkins-Cowart had anchored the last 3 years, an All-American, All-AAC caliber player. Just a tough play in right for East Carolina. And look at the reaction there from Vanderbrake. You noted his emotional impact. That's a big hit for him. Ruled a single, 3 hits for the Tar Heels early. This is Gavin Gallagher, who smoked a grand slam. His first home run as a freshman last year in this ballpark.
Zayak's really struggling right now, controlling the fastball, and it's tough to pitch off of a pitch when you don't have it. You know, that's his bread and butter. He wants to be able to go back to it, but seems to be pulling it more than anything. And that'll get a little action stirring in the Pirate bullpen.
And with ECU using 8 arms yesterday, to your point, getting some inning management is important today for Zayak. Both teams have quick turnarounds. Carolina will play tomorrow and Wednesday, and then ECU will play Old Dominion Wednesday afternoon. Now a 2-0 count.
You know, it really is a fairly consistent miss, Ev. Everything's kind of arm side, like, again, he's just pulling everything. So at some point, you got to make an adjustment. It's kind of like your golf game. If you're missing consistently one way, you can figure out how to play with that, but he's struggling right this second.
Don't put that jinx on me. Now it's a 3-0 count. My driver's still consistent right, so I'll learn to
line up left,
play the tail at the end of my swing. By the way, our producer, Kyle Gaskins, he's got a pretty low handicap down at the local Ironwood Country Club in town. I believe he's in the single digits. He can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sure he will.
Some early action in the Pirate pen just in case. That's Brad Pruitt warming up, and now strike one. You'd imagine with the control issues, Gallagher will be very patient here on 3-1. And he's aggressive, fighting that off.
Yeah, might have swung at ball 4 there. Gives him a chance to put the runner at first in motion here, Vanderbrake. With the fact that Zayak has been as erratic as he is, you got to feel like it's, you know, ball 4 is a real possibility.
Here's the 3-2. Runners hold and a slow roller. Williams only played to first. That's a productive at-bat, making it 3-1 Carolina.
Yeah, another one of those. I mean, we've seen two successful executions for Carolina, neither one of which were scorched. That ball hit off the fist, and slow roller to Dixon at second, and then obviously the Vanderbrake knock into right field. Neither one of those balls smoked, but they both count.
So there's the first out. Looks like the first pitching change coming. Cliff Godwin, 399 wins in his Pirate tenure, making the slow jaunt for the pitching change.
Yeah, he's going to go to, looks like Pruitt down there in the pen, who's their big strikeout guy. He's also had a little bit of issues with walks, but a guy that can get a strikeout and get the Pirates back in the dugout with a chance to score.
We'll take the pitching change here in this second inning. Carolina forcing the hands of the bullpen thanks to this big swing from Hunter Stokely. A 3-1 start here in Greenville. Here's one of the impact transfers for East Carolina, the Oklahoma Sooner product. By the way, Oklahoma back in the top 20 in the rankings. Great year for the Sooners. Pruitt, a part of that staff a year ago, 10 games out of the bullpen, and he is the top-rated transfer in the American Athletic Conference. Here's the reason why. He's been a strikeout machine in the Pirate Purple. 15 Ks in 6 innings this year.
Yeah, it's that wipeout breaking ball, Ev. He's not afraid to throw it in any count, and it's hard for these hitters to lay off. But, yeah, Pruitt has come in some big situations and been able to get the Pirates out of it. And, again, the only bugaboo is he has struggled at times with command. But, man, when he can get that breaking ball going, he's hard to get to.
It's an ECU bullpen that graduates its top closer, Danny Beal. Another one of its great arms out of the pen as well. And Jake Hunter, who's making his way back. There are a lot of big pieces from a year ago. Wyatt Lunsford, Shankman, an all-AAC closer. But like any team in college baseball, reload, revamp, and Pruitt now in a big spot here in the second inning.
Yeah, you know, the unique nature of it now is you can work the free agent market and pick up some guys, and you may actually get better than what you had before. But Pruitt is a guy who's fit right in here and a guy that the Pirate staff has a lot of confidence in.
Pruitt threw 1 inning on Saturday at the Durham Bulls Park. And unfortunately for the folks out in the jungle there and left, it's been a slow start for the pitching staff in terms of getting quality innings this weekend. So back to the top of the Carolina order. This is Kane Kepley. And there's that breakout pitch to get things started.
But if that crowd out in the jungle is enjoying cocktail hour at the Clark LeClaire Stadium on a Monday evening with a beautiful sunset, it doesn't.
When it's 5 o'clock in baseball paradise, it is a great time to watch the sports.
Doesn't get much better than that.
4th home game of the year and the biggest in terms of opponent and opportunity if you're East Carolina. A series win over George Mason. A good midweek battle with Campbell across the state. And here in this traditional second weekend series, Carolina wins the first 2. More pressure for Kepley, who lays off the splitter. There's a strike.
You know, it's a pretty good matchup for Pruitt. Kepley has proven to be a little bit of a free swinger. We'll see if he throws that spinner at his back foot and can get a swing and a miss.
Here is that 1-2. Right on target, but a good take. A very patient Carolina team through 6 games. Almost 8 walks a contest. That'll test any pitching staff. Here's the 2-2. And just got a piece. Kepley stays alive. Kane was the toughest batter to strike out in Conference USA a year ago alongside his head coach. And now main assistant Scott Jackson, who comes down from Liberty. What a vital weapon, not just the portal, but the familiarity here for this Tar Heel staff. So now the 2-2. And all of a sudden, we've seen a lot of this tonight. Full ball counts.
You know, when into yesterday's game, the Pirates staff have been so good. You mentioned earlier with the ERA and the stats they put up, and just got away from them a little bit. They will have to find a way to settle in tonight to get a chance to win this one.
That one stays inside, and the walk will put 2 on with 1 out.
And you're at the most dangerous part of the Tar Heel lineup.
That split finger grip you see from Pruitt. It's a pitch that made Trey Savage millions as a first-round pick of the Blue Jays. He was 20th overall. Let's see what that next generation can do here. As that one touches the zone for strike 1.
It's amazing how many pitchers will throw the top half breaking ball. You know, something that used to just be unheard of.
And I think, too, umpires are more willing to give a natural zone, even with these hitters that crunch over or change their perspective.
Yeah, top of the zone is more of a college strike than it would be a pro strike, you know, but it is regularly awarded.
Right back to Pruitt. Nice snag. Finds his shortstop and turns 2. Boucher completes the double play.
Great play there by Pruitt. Little PFP practice. Gets it to Boucher. Boucher shows off the arm and turns a double play.
3 runs for the Tar Heels. Nice defense for Pruitt. And ECU to the plate now in a 2-run game. Welcome back to Greenville, where Cliff Godwin comes off another 40-win season a year ago. And here's the big number of note, 399 wins. He's nearly passing Dr. Gary Overton, who's in the building, a big part of the Pirate program. 28 wins shy of the program record, but this is a coach who gets ECU back to a regional final a year ago. Has to revamp his roster this year, but a lot of talent for ECU coming into 2025 as this pitch is fouled off from Jack Herring.
Yeah, obviously at some point, it could be tonight, Cliff will get that 400th win, and I'll be very curious to see what his response to that will be. I'm sure he'll give a ton of credit to the program and all the players that have come through. But, yeah, he's just a handful of games or a little over 24 away from the legend, Dr. Gary Overton.
Dr. Gary came by our booth pregame. He's part of the radio coverage here at ECU, a great figure in Pirate purple and gold. Godwin 40-plus wins, 5 of his last 8 years, including a COVID-shortened season mixed into that. And Jack Herring, one of the new pieces out of the outfield, hits down 0-2.
If I watched the Pirates BP and they must have been a little dissatisfied with guys getting out of the way of pitches because they were actually hitting them in BP, working on it.
Yeah, only 76 hit by pitches a year ago. That's traditionally low for a Cliff Godwin team. They'll average around 90 or 95 per year. No one diving into more pitches, though, than St. Peter's across the country. 135 HBPs last season for the Peacocks. They clearly spread their wings and got hit there. Nevertheless, a backdoor breaker and a strikeout for Hawk.
And something you don't see very often, they throw around the horn at the Division I level, ends up out in left field. Pretty good job there of Stevenson by presenting that ball for the umpire to see and maybe surprising the hitter just a little bit.
Here's Colby Wallace, who returns with plenty of accolades as a two-way standout. Entered the rotation in the bullpen late in his freshman year, traditionally a full-time hitter throughout most of his first campaign. He takes that slider down.
You know, Colby hitting just under 100 on the season has been a little bit of a struggle. I say a little bit, been a lot of a struggle for him. And, you know, that starts to mount, but they work so hard on the middle side of it.
A slow roller here to Madera, the converted second baseman who makes the play. 2 outs.
Finish that thought. They work so hard on the middle side of the game to maintain their confidence and work through the hard times. Baseball is just a game that, you know, all it takes is a couple to fall for you and you feel completely different about it. So this program definitely needs Colby to break out and quite frankly expects him to do so in short order.
A lot of potential for Wallace, no doubt about that. What Down East Wood Ducks hat in the building tonight. It's a good look here in the eastern part of the state as Walker Barron takes a pitch outside. This is the final year of affiliated ball for the Wood Ducks, part of the Carolina League, which means those hats will be vintage commodities here in no time.
Actually, they made the change already, and they have started an independent club.
Oh,
that
great
will
point.
Play
That is this year.
Yeah.
Oh, good point, because as the Mudcats move to Wilson.
That's right.
Much like college baseball conferences, there's a lot going on in independent minor league ball. Is there strike 2?
Well, the importance of independent baseball is greater than it's ever been before now that you're looking at a 20-round draft that, you know, is greatly condensed over what we've seen in the past, condensed in the minor leagues. Guys still go out to play indie ball to have a chance to get to the big leagues. We've seen several former Pirates that have had great success in the independent leagues, and some of them are now in affiliated situations.
Yeah, really good point. The development of these players, not just at the draft ranks, but how they maneuver throughout the minors. So 2-2 to Walker Barron, who hits one hard and a base hit. A 2-out knock for East Carolina.
You know, I mentioned it again just a little bit earlier in the open. You know, Walker Barron kind of came into East Carolina as a really good catch and throw guy, not necessarily an offensive weapon, but man, he has done a great job this year of putting together tough at bats. And you see one there again, not necessarily scorched, but finds a hole and a 2-strike knock, and he finds his way on base with 2 outs, giving his team a chance.
To your point, 49 draft picks for Cliff Godwin here in his ECU tenure, just over a decade in. And here's Alex Boucher, who helped turn that double play a moment ago.
Boucher with the big shot over the net at Boshamer yesterday. It's a pretty good poke to get it up there. Another hit to go along with that.
Found his power stroke. It's been not a problem for the Pirates this year offensively. 7 home runs coming in. And now Boucher steps into some huge shoes filled by Zach Agnos, Turner Brown, many others in Pirate Purple the last 5 years. That's an important position here in Greenville.
You know, you make a great point. If you look at the batting average and the overall numbers, you wouldn't expect that number of home runs already at this point in the season.
That's a really good take. It's a 2-1 count. Yeah, that power found its rhythm yesterday in Chapel Hill. Boucher hit his second after a really tight 2-0 game in Durham on Saturday afternoon. Now a 3-1 count. This is what made East Carolina's team so good a year ago. 75 runs scored with 2 outs. They were one of the top 20 teams in the country. This is where they can be dangerous. Here's the 3-1. And a swing and a miss. Good slider.
You know, with Carolina staying true to their philosophy as they pitch these Pirate hitters that look so similar to what we've seen it throughout the series, away with Boucher, he managed to get 2 mistakes and, you know, one for a home run and one for a knock yesterday. But it's, I mean, they literally live by the books that they've established.
Bryant gains his staff in a big spot here, 3-2 count. Runners moving, and another slider. That'll end the inning. 4 Ks for Aiden Hawk, and he gets out of trouble through the second. 2-run Carolina lead when we return. 3-4-5 in the Tar Heel order after this. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina. This is a Chapel Hill club that brings a lot of experience back. 77% of this lineup. Now, there's some big holes to fill with Parks Harbor and D'Onofrio, and obviously Vance Honey got the first-round pick on, but give credit here to Scott Forbes mixing and matching this roster.
Yeah, you know, and he's been a master of that, right? We've seen him plug the holes that he needs to plug, and be it through the JUCOs or through transfer route from Division II and III programs. So Scott finds a way to construct a competitive roster every year.
The Carolina team, it's up to 5th in the country, 3rd in the ACC preseason poll coming in with a red-hot start for Florida State and Virginia right now. That league is loaded, 7 in the top 25. And a couple of changes of note for the Pirates defensively. Dixon Williams will move out to center field. Peltier will go from center to right. And a new second baseman in for the Pirates defensively.
Roger Vergara, junior college transfer.
Yeah, there's Williams now into the game. So a quick change as Herring exits. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and Pruitt falls behind 3-0. You do wonder how much a part of that was the misplay in right.
Yeah, when he went down, maybe kind of stuck a knee in the turf a little bit, may have, you know, strained something.
We'll check in on that, give you an update as we know. And now a strike.
You know, when Cliff had alluded to earlier in the season that you could see Dixon Williams play all over the field, and we're seeing him in center field tonight, something that the Pirate fans certainly are not used to.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. That is really close, and ball 4. Leadoff walk for Luke Stevenson, who's walked twice tonight.
Yeah, he kind of put the pro take on that one, right? He kind of walked it out of the box and felt like it was down and in. That's a very similar pitch that we have seen called tonight, but Stevenson, no doubt in his mind, the umpire agrees with him, and he makes his way down to first base.
Yeah, there's Vergara, who comes in defensively for the Pirates. A couple of early changes gives you a sense of the urgency of this Game 3. This is the debut defensive appearance for the junior college transfer from St. John's River State College.
He's a guy that a year ago was in the junior college national championship in Enid, Oklahoma. Solid player, and has now found his way to his opportunity.
Yeah, that tournament out in Grand Junction, Colorado is one of the best you'll see in baseball.
And this one was the D2 in Enid, Oklahoma.
Great point.
Yeah. But he is a solid player.
Now the 1-1 is tip foul. Tyson Bass fights it off.
And Ev, we got to give a shout out to the Jungle Crew who brought some nice grocery pork chop. We got pork chops and lima beans and baked beans and
those potatoes with the cheese on
potatoes.
top.
I mean, thank you guys. It will not go wasted, I promise you.
The beans and the brownies make for a great mix, and there's a delight, a breaking ball punch out for Brad Pruitt. So Hunter Stokely to the plate. Last time he wasted no time going Oppo Taco.
No, again, it's just a nice swing, drives the ball the other way, and it just happens to just kind of eke out of the ballpark, but it counts. He has been on fire this weekend.
2 home runs for Stokely, who was not a power hitter by trade coming into this season. Had less than 10 in his Carolina tenure. But that's the kind of swing, if you're Scott Forbes, you'll take a hard opposite field line drive.
Yeah, and talking to some of his teammates, he's a guy they credit with having the best instincts as a base runner and the best baseball instincts on the club.
There's a big swing for Stokely.
Yeah, now Stokely may have fooled himself into thinking he's a home run hitter now. That was a hack at it, but when you see a big body like that, you know he's going to be able to hit. That's why he's in the lineup.
Stokely only played 3 games. He was not available in this series a year ago, had a season-ending injury. But what an impact back in the Tar Heel lineup. He's up in the count 2-1. After having a career year as a junior, 15 doubles, drove in over 30. He was a huge impact bat. Him and Ozuna were all ACC caliber. And this 2-1 is trickled foul. Looks like these Carolina hitters are adjusting to the split finger there, Brad Pruitt.
You know, Pruitt's got so much arm side, he keeps them honest with the splitty and then the breaking ball back into the left-handed hitters. But Stokely, a guy that likes it out over the plate again, he loves to live in that Country Mart area over there in left center.
Yeah, his heat map is actually low and away, which I find fascinating for a power-handed left-handed hitter.
But when you watch his swing, it plays into that spot. So a guy that doesn't really like it in, we'll see if the Pirates can beat him here.
Another 3-2 count for Brad Pruitt. And another foul ball.
Yeah, just getting a piece of that one. Pretty quality pitch under the hands of Stokely.
And give credit to the Tar Heel hitters. A combined 60 pitches, and there's just one out in the third. This is a disciplined approach at the plate. East Carolina scored first in the opening inning. Stokely combined for that 3-run second. Another 3-2. And a high pop-up. Dixon Williams, the new center fielder, comes charging. No hat, no problem for the second out. Williams, who played a handful of games in center when Riley Johnson was injured a year ago with a shoulder problem. Johnson is since recovering from a postseason shoulder surgery. He'll hope to be back in the next couple of weeks for ECU. It's a good sign with Williams out there.
Good job by Pruitt to get Stokely to pop that one up with 2 strikes, and never really gave him anything in that hot zone that he could handle.
How would you feel about heat maps on the TV screen, like adding that into the broadcast?
You know, why not? We got all the other graphics. Might as well go with that one, too.
We are pro analytics here on ESPN Plus. All the numbers. There's Rom Kellis, the 4th, who takes the strike. This would be an important 0 for East Carolina's bullpen that has been heavily taxed in this series. Starters went just a combined 8 innings in the first 2 games, and here's a quick call to the pen in the 2nd inning tonight. Since the split finger pitcher holds the ball like a split, do you pick off with the split, or do you change that mid-throw?
No. You'd handcuff the first baseman. No, they changed to a traditional grip and pick over. You know, the Pirates ran Pruitt out there in game 1, 2, so these Tar Heel hitters are familiar with him, still having a tough time handling.
Romkelis on 0-2 goes down chasing. Nice use of the slider from Pruitt to end the inning. Got into some trouble in the second, but a clean third for Brad Pruitt. Good matchup brewing here in Greenville. 2-run game as we close out the weekend set.
We call it drive. The unrelenting desire to become the person you were born to be. Ignited by a moment. The realization that a future you could only dream of is within reach. At East Carolina University, you won't just imagine a path. You'll forge one through hard work and the success that comes without surrender. The journey that leads to your future. And this is where it begins.
There's only one way to win. It doesn't have shortcuts. It's a spirit to outwork, outsmart, and outlast the competition.
Catch me if you can.
It demands boldness, grit, and guts. It says we can, and we will. It's what separates us from the rest. There's only one way to greatness, and that's the American way.
Greenville, North Carolina. Here's the construction for Cliff Godwin, going heavy in the freshman class. We noted the 7 starters from a year ago that drafted or moved on via graduation. What it has opened the door for is a young Cliff Godwin lineup this year.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. These freshmen are super talented, and I mean, they show it. You know, we see some things that are a little bit growing pains, but for the most part, really talented group.
This is Alex Peltier, who moves to right field to lead off the inning. He made an amazing catch in Chapel Hill just yesterday. It was a shame there were so many good college basketball plays, including the Isaiah James behind-the-back layup that Magic Johnson was tweeting about. That might have been a top 10 caliber play, if not for all the great sports going on this time of the year. Now it's 1-2.
Yeah, talking about the talented freshman, I would put Peltier at the very top of the list, especially as it relates to the position players. He's a special player.
Alex singled and scored the first run for the Pirates. Now he goes down on the changeup. Good start on the mound for Aiden Hawk here in this 3rd inning.
Yeah, really good pitch right there.
Or Houck, my apologies.
Houck, yeah, just a thing just kind of bottoms out right there, and that's just a quality pitch, and move on to the next one.
Speaking of multi-sport streaming, there's a lot going on tonight. I'm curious what they're watching. Maybe some Netflix binging. Maybe some college basketball, Big Monday on tap. Or maybe just other college baseball cooking. Double-digit games across the country today with weather making an impact. You finding new shows this winter, Mike? Anything you've been watching?
No, not particularly.
Well, the wife got me into Love is Blind, Minnesota, St. Paul this season.
I don't know if I'd admitted that.
Well, that's what we watch.
Okay.
You know, not everyone watches the same thing. Happy wife, happy life, as we all learn at home. 3-0 count.
You know, I said it before, Kalinich just does not carry himself like a freshman. You get that vibe from he and Irby, and really a lot of these guys, you know, they spend a lot of time in the fall kind of toughening up and finding out what the culture's all about here. For some it works, for some it doesn't, but these guys seem to kind of found a home here.
Here's a walk, and Kalinich is on for the 2nd time. Wow, that's how you keep track of a great night. Not an official flyover, but we'll take it.
That's a great shot there. That was cool.
Cool shot of the jungle, the atmosphere, everyone engaged here in Greenville, North Carolina. So now a man on with 1 out. Austin Irby steps in. We were wondering the night with the wind blowing out to right, could Godwin's left-handed heavy lineup find some power stroke here? But give a lot of credit to Aiden on the mound. He's limited that contact. Good use of the splitter there, 1-1.
Tell you what, his off-speed stuff is really, really good, and these young Pirate hitters are having a little bit of a tough go with it.
Hawkeye went 3 innings, just allowed 1 run in that Texas Tech start. That's the student section here at East Carolina. They're waiting to jump up and enjoy this party. 5,000 plus on tap. Here's the 2-1. Another good change of speeds. Back to it and gets another swing and a miss.
Yeah, again, it's just got life, man. Late life and just a bit much, and that's part of the learning curve. You know, you're seeing grade A stuff like that, but the tilt on that pitch, man, just makes it really, really difficult. Not a overpowering pitch, but it's the action. It's gonna be tough to catch up to.
Aiden's real claim to fame last year was winning a series finale over NC State. He was inserted late into the rotation with some injuries, pitched 6 innings and earned the win. Closed out the year as a big reliever in Omaha. And Dixon Williams goes deep left center. This will be dropped and then bounces. It stays in play, and the Pirates get on the board with a Williams double.
Yeah, I think you're going to give a little credit to the jungle out there. I saw the center fielder's got his hands up. I think Coach Forbes
could this possibly
may
be
come
fan
out and look at
interference?
a little fan interference situation. You could tell there was some communication issues there between the left fielder and the center fielder, and immediately both threw their hands up. So I think we are going to have a situation of fan interference, which will be just enough to really ignite this crowd.
Let's take one more look.
Good piece there. Drives it in the oppo gap where he's had some success. We'll see what happens here. It's clean there.
Oh, there's the contact.
Okay.
You hit that fan in the right hand.
Yeah. Be interested to see how they kind of settle this one out. Clearly, you've got contact with the fan.
Could you assume a double and put second and third in that situation?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it's going to do is kill the ball there. And they're going to take a look at it and see if they can get a little better feel. I think they're kind of working through this one themselves.
Yeah, Steve Sanders has initiated a review, and look at those students jumping over the fence. That's like 4D, you know, right? You go to the movie theater, you get the hands-on perspective of what's going on. But for Williams, what a big swing here in this 3rd inning.
Yeah, one he needed desperately. And again, they tried to go back in there and got a pitch out over the plate, and he did a nice job. We've seen his home run early in the season was basically that same exact part of the park, or at least one of them was. So, again, a good sign for Dixon Williams. It'll be curious to see how these umpires decide this, and I'm sure Coach Palumbo down there having a chat, lobbying his point, as is Coach Forbes over on the Carolina side of the field. Kind of surprised we hadn't seen an appearance by the skipper, Cliff Galvin, going out to make sure his voice is heard, but he's perched on top of the dugout steps, ready to make an appearance if need be. Take another look here. You'll see the ball down clearly, no problem there. That's the part where the call becomes in question.
Wow, that fan took a beating there on that ball too. That's a rocket off the hands.
Yeah, and that's one that if he's not there, it's probably a ground rule double.
And to your point with the runner at first, you can't assume he's going to score,
that would put him back at third base. So I imagine that's how this will end up, is that runner will go back to third base.
Those are the 2 big power hitters from the night, Dixon Williams and Hunter Stokely talking it out. You know, these coaches have pregame meetings at home plate where they go over rules of engagement in the park. You never anticipate the fan reaching to the baseball, part of that.
Yeah, but it's become such a big part of the game, especially at the professional level, where you've seen rules put into play just for that situation. And probably the most famous one of all would be the Bartman situation that we saw interfere with Moises Alou there years ago in the playoffs.
That documentary was fascinating.
It was. That guy had a tough time.
He had to move down to Florida. He was persona non grata in Chicago for a decade. I was actually glad that the Cubs won a World Series all those years later, because it was a rough life for Steve. Okay, so here's the contact. We're going to do a little picture-in-picture and give you a sense of where the runner is. That's what's being challenged. Because if the runner touches third by the time there's contact, he is allowed to score.
But as you could see from that shot previously, as it hit him, it looked like he was maybe a third of the way around second base. Great job by the production crew and the camera crew. They see Blake Harrell, former director of baseball operations, sitting in the stands. But
okay, so the double is awarded, and it looks like the run is also awarded.
Stoker's going to have a chat with the umpire, and that's going to bring Scott Forbes out. Have a little more animated conversation.
Yeah. Sanders and Forbes are going over this because, in theory, the runners should be at second and third.
I would certainly think so, and I mean, this is one of those that you don't see every day, and the reason you watch baseball. But I think that.
And there is an interpretation angle of this. The umpire can determine the run would have scored if he's past a certain point, but usually that's if you touch third, not if you're not at third base. The nuances of college baseball. You add in an interstate rivalry. And second-year coach Scott Forbes asking for that explanation.
And from a body language standpoint and watching the interaction with the second base umpire and the players, both Pirates and Tar Heels out there, I saw a couple shoulder shrugs, kind of like, I don't get this either, but this was a decision that they made, and that goes to the home plate umpire.
So we'll take one more look.
And I will tell you, this works out to be a big break for the Pirates from the standpoint of, again, if it doesn't contact that fan, I believe it probably gets out of the park, and you end up with runners on second and third in this situation.
And that's where Forbes is having this conversation.
Yeah, as opposed to having scored the second run of the game.
Nonetheless, it's an RBI double for Dixon Williams. 1 on, 2 outs for Keenan Bowman now. And he goes first pitch fishing. How can this Carolina staff have worked backwards a ton today? Put a lot of pressure on the ECU bats.
Carolina respecting the speed of Keenan Bowman at the plate, third baseman playing bag even and kind of adjusting, looking for a possibility of a bunt.
Bowman on 0-1 takes the slider down, riding a 4-game hit streak. He's been the most consistent hitter for the Pirates through these first 6 games. And he's condensed 54, 55-game seasons. Any good start is so important here, especially here in the college game where RPI is a big factor. 1-1. Nips the corner.
A little 92-mile-an-hour on the black in that spot that we've been talking about, kind of down and away from Bowman.
Tying run now at second, and a good take. This Pirate program, 640 win years in the recent Godwin tenure. A slower start by their traditional standards, and that gets tested tonight against the number 5 team in the country. Here's the 2-2. Got him swinging. Good change of speed one more time from Aiden Houck to get out of the threat. The Pirates, though, get on the board with an RBI double from Dixon Williams. And now a 1-run contest. Fun battle between the 2 winningest programs in the state over the last 10 years. Welcome back here in Greenville, North Carolina. This is the prime example of two of the best teams in the state. Look over the last 10 years since Cliff Godwin took tenure here at East Carolina. No two programs more wins, more postseason success, and what an opportunity to showcase the greatness of college baseball here tonight.
Yeah, you caught me finishing my pork chop from the jungle here, but you're exactly right. If you look back, it's amazing how many times both of these programs are hosting postseason baseball and regional, super regional play. Again, just a testimony to how good baseball is in North Carolina.
East Carolina and North Carolina won 46-plus games a year ago. And this Tar Heel squad, big second inning. Hunter Stokely goes yard. And Brad Pruitt, who's been effective in 2 innings of work, heads right back out there for the fourth. This is Sam Angelo. Another example of what Carolina has done well in the transfer portal, the Montclair State standout. The NGAC Player of the Year, the first in program history to do that. And here's a base hit because hitting travels any level. And Angelo with his third knock of the year.
You know what, again, a guy that comes in with big power numbers hasn't really had any success in that category the year to date, but manages a leadoff knock there and brings Vanderbrake to the plate.
Bounce back innings, such a big factor in college baseball. And this series last year, Game 3 was here in Greenville. That was a 10-9 game with 6 different lead changes. Bristol Carter, the game-winning hit for the Pirates in that 10-9 thriller. Maybe not as offensive-minded tonight, but that's the kind of feel you get here in the second week with some postseason implications. There's Jackson Vanderbrake, who singled his first time up.
Yeah, I have all ideas. If we're going to see big offensive numbers, it's going to be on the back end of this game as both teams get into the back of the bullpens at the end of the weekend. And, again, Carolina having a turn to go tomorrow, so they got to be considerate of that at least. But the Pirates do get the extra day, moving their game to Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, both programs some schedule adjustments. Carolina was set to play A&T last Wednesday, but then Mother Nature had other plans. So the Tar Heels will play tonight, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then a roped line drive. It's just foul. East Carolina, meanwhile, to your note, they'll play Wednesday night and then host Kent State, Indiana State, and Virginia Tech in the infamous LeClaire Classic here in the eastern part of the state.
You know, such a big trend in early season baseball now, something that we see happening more and more with the tournaments, the single site, you know, multiple teams coming in to mix it up.
Well, and to your point, it's a great, with the Round Rock Classic in Texas, the Jacks Baseball Classic, it gives teams a tournament feel early, right? Testing arms, getting matchups, getting ready for the beginning of June into May. Heck, even the ACC has revamped its entire tournament format. As the runner takes off, here's the slow roller. That'll prevent the double play and get the first out of the inning.
Yeah, the rare small ball hit and run there by the Tar Heels, you just don't see it very often, but that one hit right on the button at Boucher. The runner was already off. And Angelo, and that's more the effort of staying out of the double play when, you know, you don't feel like your guys at the plate, and I would say specifically Angelo, are necessarily the quickest guys on your club. So runner in scoring position with 1 out.
There's an opportunity for the Tar Heels to strike right back. Gavin Gallagher off a great freshman campaign. Now in year 2 for a Tar Heel club that was 11th in the country in hits last year. It was a lineup that could blister up and down the order, but 5 gone via the draft or graduation. And here's Gallagher, who was a big piece of that, 45 starts a year ago. Here's the 0-1. Pruitt, who threw an inning earlier this weekend, is now hovering above 40 pitches.
Yeah, no real action down in the pen for the Pirates. You got to wonder what his number is, and it may just be going until you're ineffective.
And to your point, how valuable would that be getting him to the 5th or the 6th if you're Cliff Godwin?
So I think this is going to be a warning about the hitter has to address the pitcher, and address being maybe look at, maybe there's kind of open for interpretation, but
by a certain time on the clock.
8
correct.
seconds, and the umpire must not have felt like he was given a fair opportunity.
20 seconds between pitches. Here's the 1-1. And a rope base hit the other way. Gallagher was ready for that one. And holding at third. But then the ball skips to the backstop. Good hold there by Barron. First and third now for UNC.
Yeah, Irby couldn't have turned and thrown that one any better with the skip off the glove coming in from Peltier in right field. You'll see it here. Peltier gets to it and comes up throwing to make sure they don't have a play at the plate, and just kind of skips off of Irby's glove, but right to Walker Barron at the plate.
2 hits in the inning for the Tar Heels, who are now threatening big time in the frame. Here's Kane Kepley, third plate appearance. We're only in the 4th inning.
And that'll get the pin up. Looks like they got a lefty down in the Pirate bullpen.
East Carolina club that only turned 28 double plays a year ago. That was not because of poor defense. It was a pitching dominant team. High strikeout numbers last year. ECU led the American in fielding percentage. And there's the 1-0. And there's the bullpen getting loose. Cliff Godwin, a busy weekend with the pen. 8 relievers yesterday. Used just 2 on Saturday. Pruitt and Ethan Young. Young, who was fantastic. 3 1/3, 5 Ks. And a nice stop there from Barron.
Yeah, it looked like number 21, Nick Miranda, on the pen. Another one of those guys, kind of well-traveled, Wake Forest and Liberty in his collegiate career. Seen him in the starter role here at East Carolina already, and obviously out of the bullpen, so he works down there to get loose.
That does clip the top of the zone. Keep in mind the left-hander, Alex Madeira, due up next, and then Luke Stevenson. So this is a left-handed heavy part of the order if you're Coach Scott Forbes. And there's strike 2.
I fully expect they're going to put the runner at first base. Gallagher into motion here. Kepley, guy that puts the ball in play, runs well. The whole point in their offensive opportunity right here is to just stay out of the double play.
An important payoff. Misses high and away. The bases are loaded. North Carolina very patient today. That's 5 walks drawn.
Pitch just up and away, and not really in the most competitive situation there. Kepley easily takes that one and trots down to first. Looks like that'll bring Austin Knight out of the bullpen, or I'm sorry, out of the dugout.
Yeah, pitching coach, and I'll have a quick chat with his stud right-hander, Brad Pruitt.
I'm going to bet you this is a trip to the mound. He's going to probably let him know he's coming out. They're going to go back down, and then Cliff will come out and make the change because Moran just got up not very long ago.
Those are the numbers for Pruitt, where he was really efficient Saturday. That was a big reason he had some length today, just 7 pitches in that scoreless inning. And looks like Pruitt will face the next batter here.
I don't know, Ev. We've seen this shuffle before where as soon as AK gets in, we'll see the skipper, but he's making some notes down there. I don't know if he's going to make the move here or not.
You know, Molly, I think you're onto something.
All right, we're going to go get him.
Here we go. First pitch to Alex Madeira coming. And that one skips in the turf.
You know, the reason I thought that pitch of change was imminent right there is you got a left-hander at the plate and left-hander warming in the pen. So I thought, you know, hey, that's, you know, makes sense right there. Lefty also on deck in Luke Stevenson.
That one's not very close either. 2-0 count. Alex Madeira, who a year ago hit over 400 with men in scoring position. He's already got 4 RBI this year and a chance to really do some damage.
Dangerous pitch right here.
Swing and a miss. Good splitter.
Yes. It's pretty gutsy with bases loaded to throw the off-speed offer there. And, I mean, he was obviously sitting dead red and just swung over it.
Now the 2-1. This is a high blast to center. Dixon Williams retreating. And that'll score the run from third. Both runners advance. And in there. Good base running from the Tar Heels for a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, speedy backside runner in Kepley, and if there is a knock on Dixon Williams, it's an arm strength deal. And you know, that ball also takes him back to where he really can't get behind it, come forward to make a great throw. See him kind of drift to it and comes up, pops it in, but it's one of those deals where, again, Kepley's such a good runner, and the combination of both of those things made it pretty easy for Kepley to pick up that back.
Williams, the defensive replacement. He just went out there 2 innings ago in center. Peltier now in right. And then Vergara comes in at second base. Here's a 2-out chance for Luke Stevenson, who's walked twice tonight. The Carolina team that was so patient offensively a year ago, not just a top 10 scoring team. But they drew their fair share of free passes.
I can't imagine with first base open, he's going to get a whole lot to hit here.
Right on cue, a 2-0 count.
Because, again, we mentioned it in the open. This is the guy that you circle on the lineup and go, we're not going to let him beat us.
In fact, a Carolina team that finished 8th in the country in total walks. They trailed just Wake Forest by a handful. It wasn't very far off. 14 walks, the difference between 1st and 8th in the country. As here's the 2-1. And a good swing and a miss there.
Again, that would have been ball 3. That was in on the inside part of the batter's box there.
From a metric standpoint, the late movement of that splitter from Brad Pruitt has caused a lot of swing and miss. Here now, the 2-2 goes back to it. Walker Barron knocks it down.
Really good job by Barron back there saving a run. I know by a lot of the Pirate faithful, there's been a lot of conversation about the turf. Some like it, some don't. But I would tell you as a catcher, it's pretty true back there, and it gives you a better than fighting chance to keep that ball in front of you.
First year of a full turf backstop and up the lines here at Lewis Field at Clark LeClaire Stadium. Now the 3-2 goes to it again, and that stays up. So the bases are loaded.
You know, I think of the options, obviously, other than him having struck out or even, you know, flied out, that's about the best case scenario, because Luke Stevenson, as we saw last night with a 3-run home run, or yesterday afternoon with the 3-run home run, he has some juice in the stick.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. A very patient Carolina order. 6 walks today sets the stage for Tyson Bass. That's a really close pitch, ball 1.
Yeah, you got to think the fans are going to want that one. That's the one we keep talking about. That must have been just a little low for his liking. You see Bass, again, you know, big power numbers coming out of the Division III ranks, and it's a big, aggressive, fairly violent swing that looks like it's a pull side type swing, but he's done a great job hitting the ball the other way.
Oh no, a wild pitch, an opportunity to score, and the Tar Heels take advantage. Great speed from Gallagher makes it 5-2.
Yeah, that one just up and away. Not sure how they'll rule that. Pass ball or wild pitch. Looks like it should have been one that Walker Barron could have gotten to, but it was on the outside of his glove. You almost wonder if that's a cross up there, you know, because he was so far away.
Yeah, he was set really far inside. So all of a sudden a run comes in, a 2-1 count, and that slider yanks outside. Nothing has come easy tonight for this Pirate pitching staff, as now the count's full.
Yeah, that's the part where Bass is going to have to grow into it. That's a bit of a free swing and a 3-1 count with a guy who's really struggling in the zone.
Now the payoff, and Bass goes down chasing. The nearby native of Wilson, North Carolina, can't catch up to it, and 2 runs for the Tar Heels. East Carolina to the plate, down 3 when we return. As we celebrate Black History Month here across the country, I want to spotlight Vince Colbert, who was the first African-American player to receive a scholarship back when the school was known as East Carolina College. Great pitcher in his tenure, helped the team win back-to-back league championships, and was also a basketball player here in the local area. Nice chance to spotlight some of the greats in the Hall of Famer of 15 years prior. Wrapping up a great month and the best time in college sports, crossover season and early in the college baseball tenure. We noted some of the changes for the Pirates, so Roger Vergara gets an at-bat, an opportunity here filling in defensively, his first appearance in the Pirate Gold tonight. A quick 2-0 count to Vergara. Houck back to it and gives up a foul ball.
You know, it seems like a little earlier in the game, both pitchers or both pitching staffs were getting ahead. First pitch strikes, and now we've kind of seen it go the other way. Got a lot of baseball left, but I have a feeling we're going to see a bunch more guys tonight, and we'll see how that trend continues.
Vergara had a really good tenure, especially as a defender at St. John's River State College. 51 starts, high defensive IQ, good scrapper at the plate, and he earns a walk to begin the fourth inning.
Yeah, he's pumped. First time getting on base at the Division I level, and what a thrill for him. Colby Wallace, we've documented it's been a bit of a struggle. Let's see if Coach Palumbo gives him the easy way out and maybe allows him to lay one down, get Vergara in scoring position.
Wallace held hitless in this series. Takes a big hack there into his Pirate dugout. And there's Jeff Palumbo working the third base bag, typically occupied by Cliff Godwin. As we noted, 399 wins in Godwin's tenure. And leaning on his top assistant to orchestrate the offense tonight. There's the 0-1. And that splitter has been fantastic.
Yeah, you know, he'll show you that 92 kind of in that same spot, tunneling that pitch off of the 92-mile-an-hour fastball. But that thing has got some life.
There's strike three, and a good paint job of the corner. That's a pitch that 5,000 plus won't be pleased with.
Yeah, again, I mean, it is the same pitch, but it seems to be called about 50% of the time. But I mean, clearly, I think you look at that one and you got to feel like that's a low strike. But again, if it's going both ways, it just seems to be about 50% of the time either way.
How about 8 strikeouts for Houck, making a great appearance here in his second start of the year. Was a weekend starter at Fayetteville Tech, transfers in last year, a big-time reliever for the Tar Heels.
So there's that 91-92. Let's see if it backs it up at that little splitty.
That ball gets away from Stevenson, and nice base running. Vergara takes second, now in scoring position.
Yeah, pretty good job to block that pitch, but he just lost it. It was directly underneath him, and that's sometimes one that's hard to get to. Maybe even bounces off the umpire, but
and I think if Stevenson grabs that cleanly, he has a chance.
Yeah, he looks up at the runner instead of focusing on picking up the baseball, and Vergara goes into second base safely.
Now a 2-0 count to Walker Barron. That takes a looping strike. By the way, that strikeout for Aiden Houck puts him now at 8 Ks. That's a career best for the Fayetteville Tech transfer. Houck here on 2-1. Little small ball from Cliff Godwin's program, and that's fouled back.
You know, kind of interesting. I've talked about it a lot tonight, how the quality of at-bats that Walker Barron's had. He's up 1 for 1 on the night and gets ahead in the count. I don't know if he made that choice or if that came in from the coach's box, but kind of interesting look. He did have the third baseman back there camped pretty deep, so.
Darren takes high. A recruited defensive first catcher who now in year 2 is having to lean on his offensive prowess. Big home run early in this series. And he singled tonight. An important 75th pitch for Aiden Houck here in the 4th. And gives up weak contact. There's Alex Madera. And we'll move the runner to third here with 2 outs.
Tell you what, Barron runs pretty good for a catcher too. Put a little heat on Madera, and you got to think Walker Barron's called 3 days in a row. Matter of fact, he's called every inning of every game that the Pirates have played. So you know he's got to do a great job of taking care of himself. But you'll see he gets out of the box pretty good here, and you know you think catcher running, but Barron at least makes it a little bit interesting.
And as you've seen up and down college baseball, the double bases at first, a new implement this year from a rule standpoint. Helps avoid some awkward contact on those bang-bang plays. Yeah, new part of college baseball. Sometimes it's the pitch clock like 2 years ago. This year it's a base implementation. And here's Boucher, the Old Dominion transfer. He'll get a chance to face his former compatriots on Wednesday.
You know, I don't have a problem with the double bag. I think it makes it interesting if you have that third strike that gets away from the catcher towards the dugout. How is that going to happen? You know, what's the first baseman have right to? But it seems like they could have just gone to the bigger bag like the big leagues use and basically accomplished the same thing without ultimately probably making that transition anyway. You know, what you see at the big leagues has a tendency to trickle down. We've seen it with replay. You know, we've seen it with different things. So I wonder why they didn't just make that move. But either way, we got the double bag at first.
Some of the many new things you see in college baseball this year. Now 1-2 count on Boucher as Alex lays off.
You know, you see the Hills consistently just pounding that breaking ball down and away to Boucher. Yesterday, the 2 hits they gave up were balls that just hung. Both of them were away, and he pulled both of them firmly. But they really feel like his out spot is that down and away breaking pitch.
Here's the 2-2. A good fight from Boucher. That's been a staple of Cliff Godwin's tenure here in 11 seasons. Difficult team to get out with 2 outs. Typically a low strikeout team despite the 8 Ks from Houck tonight. And there's the man who started it, Roger Vergara. Called strike 3. Career best 9 Ks and counting for Aiden Houck. Mowing his way out of trouble through 4 innings. The punch out helping out the Tar Heel number 3 starter as we move deeper into this Monday night. Fourth pitcher of the night for Cliff Godwin's program, Nick Moran, the Liberty transfer, facing his former head coach, Scott Jackson, who's now the lead assistant for Carolina. Moran, the nearby Wake Forest native, he was really good, both as a starter and a reliever in 67 innings a year ago. What does he bring to the Pirate arm here tonight?
Yeah, you know, he's another one of these guys, kind of a three-pitch mix guy. He's thrown an inning in a third, and it's the walks, man. It's, you know, staying out of those free bags, and he draws a tough assignment out of the gate with the hot Stokely.
Yeah, Hunter Stokely, the home run, and he also earned another on-base appearance tonight. And isn't that just cute? Generations of fans here in college baseball. Is that a toboggan or a beanie, though? I don't know how cold it is. It might fluctuate from time to time. I'm team toboggan personally, especially when it was 20 degrees last week and snow and ice everywhere across the state. Nick Moran, the breakout transfer from Liberty a year ago, faces Hunter Stokely, who takes a strike. It's a combination of cutter, curveball, and a fastball 87 to 88 for the new lefty out of the pen, who had great success limiting extra base hits a year ago for the Flames. Less than 10 of those given up all year in 70-plus innings. And he'll need it because the way Stokely's swinging the bat. Oh, he gets plunked. A leadoff hit by pitch.
I think that caught, excuse me, I think that caught a little of the upper arm guard there for Stokely, and he'll make his way down. You know, he carries himself, Stokely being the guy I'm talking about, is kind of the maybe one of the alphas on the team. Even watching him in BP, throwing his bat, and kind of, you know, it kind of had a little bit of like a professional wrestler kind of motif about him, but he takes that one off the back of the tricep and finds his way to first.
Yeah, I love the personality and the demeanor of Stokely. He sets the tone for this Tar Heel team. As Kellis fights one off. You a WWE Raw guy? You watching some Monday night
man, it's
wrestling?
Been years.
Well, we do have some Monday night matchup here in Greenville. Two programs that'd be fun to watch them spar after it. We're seeing on the diamond tonight as that pitch skips away. Stokely moving to second.
This game kind of seems to have fallen into a little bit of a weird rhythm. Little struggling with the strike zone for the Pirate Club, and then you got the hit by pitch, and then you get a ball bounced and a free pass, and Pirates need to clean it up a little bit.
Here's the 1-1. This will roll foul. You know, the Pirates staff struggling to throw strikes. Then that has been a bugaboo on the weekend. 9 walks yesterday. Just 3 walks and a good pitching performance Saturday, but it has worked the taxing innings and pitch count for ECU.
They already have another arm up in the pen.
And a quick pick before that pitch, but hold on. But umpire called time.
Yeah, I don't think Big Stokely was counting on that one. Vergara slid in behind him.
Kellis, the Florence Darlington Tech transfer, takes high and away. He was the Region 10 Player of the Year at the junior college level. Local product from South Carolina, second-team All-American. And stepped up from the power department last year. 20 bombs for Darlington. Here's the 2-2. And off with the count full.
Yeah, it even feels like the fans here are feeling a little listless. Like, again, this game's kind of falling into a little funky pace.
Yeah, nearing the 2-hour mark here in the 5th inning. Has that postseason type feel and pace as there's ball 4.
Tries the top of the strike zone, looking for the swing and miss, not so much the call, and just misses tall.
We noted the walks coming in. Just over 300 teams in Division I baseball, and that's something the Pirates will have to improve heading into the month of March.
Marco Barron going out, and having a quick chat with his arm. This may be another one of those situations that give the Pen a chance to get a couple more tosses in before they get called on. I'm sure there was probably some conversation about a possibility of a bunt here as well.
I think that kid's ready to field the bunt. Isn't that cute? He's got the CC Sabathia hat look, by the way, the Hall of Fame inductee, Sabathia. Ichiro Suzuki, first bout Hall of Famer as well, joining the class. And here's a monstrous swing from Sam Angelo, but that'll stay in the yard. Here's Dixon Williams. Stokely to tag. He'll test Williams' arm and beats him. First and third now for the Tar Heels. And Coach Forbes is loving it, the hustle there of Stokely.
Yeah, that's one of those things, again, where, you know, they look, man, these teams know each other. They've been watching Dixon for the better part of 3 years now, and they know that that's, you know, a little bit of a challenge for him. And we talked earlier how Stokely is so instinctive according to his teammates, and that's one of those situations where, you know, maybe he's a little quicker than he looks.
We got angles all over the park tonight. If you need a camera angle, we'll find it. 11 different cameras.
Well, this angle will get Coach Godwin coming out.
Yeah, we've seen this angle from time to time tonight. No, good point.
Be the night for Moran. Yep, he's going to the right-hander.
Cliff Godwin making the pitching change here in the fifth. And halfway through this game, it'll be plenty of more mixing and matching arms. How about this new arm for the Pirates? Ian White Jr. enters when we come back. 3-run ball game. What a Monday night for college baseball with a new pitcher on tap. Oh, hello, camera. Ian White. Fifth pitcher of the game for East Carolina. He's one of the 20 true freshmen for the Pirates coming in. Pennsylvania native Ian White Jr., who's already pitched in this series, got one out and was quickly taken out of the game yesterday. Fourth appearance for Ian, yet to give up a hit or a run in his 4 outings. And now a situational spot here with men on and 1 out.
Yeah, we knew that they were going to have to turn guys that we'd already seen this weekend. I mean, you know, used a lot of guys obviously yesterday. And so you knew this was starting to happen, and we've seen now White twice in this series, and we've already seen Pruitt twice in the series. So we're starting to see some guys that these Tar Heel hitters are familiar with.
And if you're North Carolina, seeing the familiarity with the arms, how does that play a factor in a night like this?
Oh, look, man, it's everything. You know, there's reasons why you only have relievers face lineups one time through the lineup. You know, you change looks, you change kind of rhythms, and so I mean it's a big deal, especially if you're a guy, you know, in the Tar Heel dugout that had some success against White. You're kind of licking your chops for him to get back up there against him.
Thanks for joining us here in a sold-out crowd at Clark LeClaire Stadium. Game pushed back from Friday with snow in the area, and great news, we got perfect weather tonight. Tar Heels 3 runs in the second, couple more in the fourth for insurance. And now East Carolina, who scored first, looking to stop the bleeding here in this 5th inning. A bullpen that's been well tested. And Ian White, who has scoreless in his outings on the weekend, back to work.
Well, Ev, while we have a little break in the action, I got to take a second to wish a very happy birthday to a very special person to me. Miss Erin Driver. A lot of the Pirate fans will know who she is. Happy birthday. 29 again, I understand. So, again, happy birthday to Erin, and I know they're home watching the game and enjoying a birthday dinner.
Hey, birthday baseball and a good chance to enjoy a nice night. I'm all for that. Good sights and sounds of what's cooking here at Clark LeClaire Stadium. One of the more unique and exciting atmospheres in college baseball. Unfortunately for the home folks tonight, it's been Carolina taking the wind out of their sails through a few innings. Patient hitters drawing 7 walks tonight.
You know, this is what we needed, was another delay. Apparently the pitch communication system they're using is either not working or maybe you just got to swap it out. Yeah, give it a listen.
Oh, you're having trouble hearing the signs.
Yeah, I can't hear it. Yeah, we're going to need a new one. No. Okay, got it figured out.
Must have adjusted the dial.
You know, it's amazing. You talk about all the evolutions and things that have happened to change in the game. Between the wristbands, you see guys looking down, getting offensive signs, and then the things that look like eye watches where pitch calls are. Now they can actually hear, you know, and it's kind of takes you to think about the green dot on the football helmet where you have one player on each side that can hear the coach. So technology just continues to evolve.
Makes me think about those phone commercials. Can you hear me now? All over the country, making things happen. Jackson Vandenbrake now digs in. And he takes a slider for strike 1. Ian White, who earned a save in his debut, that helped secure the George Mason series. He's pitched in some big spots early in his Pirate tenure, including getting an out yesterday. And now facing 8-9-1 in Scott Forbes' order. Here's a squeeze bunt that gets pulled back. And no attempt on the appeal to first.
Yeah, a little safety look there. Reasonably big breakdown at third base, but definitely was not going. Stokely took a hard first step, but his responsibility was to see that bunt down if it were going to take place. Pirate fans wanted it called a strike.
Vandenbrake chomping on this 1-1 pitch. This time runners hold and a good stop from Walker Barron.
You know, the deal with White is that kind of high three-quarter slot where makes that breaking ball have a little extra bite on it and has a lot of arm side run on the fastball, but that slot's a little different look than what we've seen for the Pirate pitching tonight.
A former 2-time All-ACC hitter here in Jackson Vandenbrake with runners breaking. That's an easy delayed steal. Now second and third.
You know, I really think he had just fallen into such a rhythm on the mound, that White being who I'm talking about, he fell into such a rhythm that they had recognized it. I was watching the 2 first base coaches kind of pointing back and forth at each other, but they, you know, did the job, took away the need for the sack or even for a safety squeeze.
Now the 3-1 pitch. And works the count full to Vandenbrake.
You'll see it right here where he just takes off. They found the rhythm, and you kind of work on that, Ev, like one Mississippi too. But whatever your mantra is, or whatever your cadence is, kind of fell into that rhythm and made it easy.
Credit to Scott Jackson, the first base coach, longtime Liberty head coach, picking that up for his runners. And here's the 3-2. Hold on. Time was called before the pitch. Time was called. It's a clock violation, which means an automatic ball regardless. Pitcher wasn't ready when the clock hit 0. So don't mind the result. It ends up bases loaded.
You know, this kind of goes back to what I said at the top of the inning, how it had kind of gotten a strange feel in the ballpark, and it's weird how the atmosphere does that, but it did. This game has fallen into a strange rhythm. And
yeah, look at the clock in the top corner there.
Yep, goes to zeros before he delivers the
And
pitch.
This is not like the NFL. When the clock hits 0, the ball has to be out of hand.
That's correct. Either way, ball 4.
It's not when the back judge looks up to the clock, then looks at Patrick Mahomes, then counts to 5 more seconds, and then the clock hits 0. Gavin Gallagher up with the bases loaded. And there's strike 1. So now some inherited trouble gets even more complicated for Ian White. Facing a freshman All-American from a year ago in Gavin Gallagher, who's got the March Mustache Madness rolling here at the end of February. Gets a piece there. It's 0-2.
Kind of gives you an idea of how good that his stuff is, White stuff is in the box. That ball just had such dive on, and Gallagher had already committed to the swing, kind of swinging at the fastball. Oh, no, it's a slider. Just able to foul off a little piece of it.
Speaking of dive, look at that handlebar mustache. Young freshman who had a clean face on media day. He's grown up in front of our eyes here in year 2. And Galler hits one on the ground. Nice snag by Wallace. Better throw to end the inning. Ian White walks the tightrope and gets out of trouble through the 5th. Halfway through this midweek matchup, Carolina, the 3-run lead. Pirates get some nice defense here to escape the jam. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina, where the home Pirates, the preseason favorites here in the AAC. 5 straight regular season titles in the American. Keep an eye on Tulane, won 2 of the last 3 tournament titles. And UTSA, who finished in the top third a year ago. A conference that would love to be more competitive in terms of an RPI standpoint to help out East Carolina nationally.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the conference shakes out this year. We've had a lot of guys, a lot of movement in the conference, both in and out. And Charlotte coming off a big series win over ODU this past weekend.
Keep an eye on Mason Little, the UTSA outfielder. He's the player of the year in the preseason. And those Charlotte Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle greens looked really good, green on green, in that walk-off win for Charlotte over ODU. There's the starting center fielder for the Pirates, who's since moved into right with a defensive change. Alex Peltier. And he whiffs on the breaking ball. That's where Houks had a ton of swing and miss stuff tonight. The splitter, the curve. He's kept hitters off balance.
Yeah, fastball's been just good enough to set up that secondary stuff, and it's been really, really good.
9 punch-outs for Aiden tonight. It looks like the Greenville native is warming up in the pen.
Matthew Mateus, D.H. Conley product, and saw a shot of his dad in the stands a little bit ago. I know he's so proud.
Mateus has already pitched in this series and has pitched in this ballpark a ton throughout his childhood. Someone misses outside. He also threw in last year's game here in Game 3 of the series.
Talking about a guy, Mateus, that last year early on in the season was leading the country in wins out of the bullpen.
He had over 30 appearances a year ago. Highly trusted arm for Scott Forbes. And the 3-2 is chopped on the turf. Madera charges. What a transfer. And a nice throw.
Tell you what, that's a really good play by Madera. Peltier is a plush runner and gets down the line here quite well. May have jammed him a little bit in the box. Gives it a little half step, but Medeiros comes up clean and throws a strike, getting him by half a step.
No problem for Alex Madera making the move from second to short. The Arcadia transfer. T3 standout in his 4-year tenure. And there's a first pitch strike. Michael Kalinich, who's reached base twice, a single and a walk. This was a spot in the order in that 2-hole where Carter Cunningham was an All-American candidate. 17 doubles and 17 homers a year ago. I don't care who you bring in offensive. That's some big shoes to fill in the middle of this lineup.
Yeah, no question.
Both him and Jacob Jenkins-Coward, stalwarts from the left side in this order, have since moved on with the draft or graduation, and it opened some holes for the rest of this young lineup. 20 freshmen, a handful of transfers sprinkled in, including Kalinic, the true freshman himself out of Florida. And he's light on the heater, 2-2.
You know, I think an interesting point of note here is you see Kalinic at the plate, but Halkett 91 pitches. So the confidence they have in extending him, I can't imagine he goes past 100, which is why Mateus is getting hot. But kind of an interesting thought process by the Tar Heel pitching staff.
The 2-2 is fought off. That's a good battle. To your point, just 3 innings and just over 60 pitches for Houck as he eased into the season last week against Texas Tech.
Really good job there by Kalinic, keeping those hands back and getting that ball out of play to get him another pitch.
Here comes pitch 93. And double-figure strikeouts. No frame needed. And a nice pick at first to finish it off. 10 Ks for Aiden. Looks like he had everyone guessing on this pitch.
Yeah, and Stevenson maybe trying to bring that one up from the bottom of the zone. Kalinic didn't like it, and still kind of a sloppy play there. You know, we talked about.
Well, and you and I both know too. That's a credit to the umpire, because there's a lot of times that pitch is called a ball.
Yeah.
When you miss the zone, at least miss your target. But Stevenson gets bailed out. Good throw to get the second out.
Well, a lot of times when the catcher misses the ball, regardless of where it is, it's ruled a ball. Maybe not rightly so, but it's just kind of part of it. You need to be able to catch those.
Yeah, we see at the big league game, the automated ball strike system has made an impact in the spring training game this week. Not a part of the college game, but we've seen much more consistent zones throughout the year. Tonight, it's anyone's guess from time to time. That's the fun of these midweek matchups. You just never know what you're going to get. Here's the 0-2 as Irby flails one out of play. Irby in this East Carolina offense scored 1 in the first. The Dixon Williams double with the fan interference in the third inning. Now looking to strike here in the fifth.
You know, it takes some nerve to take that pitch with some of those pitches we've seen in there tonight called strikes.
Houck on pitch 98. This is outside. And Aiden's had some long appearances in his tenure. Went 6 innings, 3 times in ACC play a year ago. What an outing to close out game 3 of this series. Here's the 2-2. A high pop-up should wrap up the fifth. Madera drifting back. And he hangs on to make the catch. The balancing act of the 5th-year senior Alex Madera closes out the jam. A tight battle here in Greenville and a little help from the leather. Through 5 innings, 3-run Tar Heel lead. Welcome back to Greenville, where Aiden Hawk's been fantastic. Just under 100 pitches, double-figure Ks, and holding the Pirates at bay.
Yeah, what an outing, and gets it up to almost 100 pitches. The secondary stuff was nothing short of electric, and he did a great job locating off that fastball. But a great outing by Aiden Hawk tonight.
Nearing a career high in total pitches, and it looks like his night is done for North Carolina. Yeah, 10 strikeouts closes out the night, and it's a bullpen game from here on out. ECU goes deeper into its pen as well as Aiden steps aside in his second start of the year. Here comes a big arm from a year ago. Jake Hunter in for East Carolina, the senior out of East Rowan High School. And he pounds the zone. Before an injury at the end of April, Hunter was a huge part of the rotation. 40 innings of work, about a strikeout per inning, and now comes as a bullpen option here in year 4.
The fastball's back for Jake. It was never a huge fastball, but they really like this progression of the secondary stuff coming off the arm issue.
Perfect Game has him as a top 40 senior arm in the country coming in. He was very versatile, both as a starter and a reliever. He actually started in this Carolina series way back in February of a year ago. What kind of impact do you think he'll make for the Pirates this year?
Oh, listen, any experienced arm or experienced player they could get at this point is a welcome addition.
Here's a high fly ball for Kane Kepley, finding his center field counterpart. One quick out. A scoreless inning for Hunter over the weekend. That was yesterday. Jake Hunter, who last year won the March Mustache Madness competition here at East Carolina. That's to raise money for awareness. Expect to see that chin music get even better over the next month. There's
it's
a good strike.
Annual tradition here, Ed, with Pitt Community College and East Carolina. It seems like NC State participated last year, where it's a ALS awareness and part of the campaign to strike out ALS.
Yeah, great cause across the country. Here's an opposite field base hit for Alex Madera. He'll be hustling in for 2. And a sliding double for Madera. 6th hit for the Tar Heels tonight.
See, Madera just stays on that breaking ball up in the zone a little bit and drives it past Colby Wallace, who was in a little bit protected against the bunt. Clean double there for Medeiros. And the obligatory Selly from second base.
Well, if you're not celebrating, you're not doing it right. That's the name of the game these days. Cameron Seagraves now warming up in the Carolina pen. What a beautiful shot at Town Bank Tower back there, too, where the football team plays, as this ball is roped into right field for a base hit. Luke Stevenson delivers. That throw cut off, and the Tar Heels extend the lead. RBI single for Luke Stevenson.
We saw, and again, not making an excuse, but we saw Jake Hunter at a brief appearance yesterday, and probably his first time going back-to-back, coming back into the rotation. So we may be seeing a little bit of that there. As you see that fastball stay up with, only about 89 miles an hour. So Luke Stevenson, obviously not the guy you want to make a mistake to.
Back-to-back hits for the Tar Heels, their largest lead of the night. Not the power of last season's 2024 roster, but this Tar Heel team is threatening up and down as Hunter gives up a foul ball to Tyson Bass.
Well, I can assure you that Jesse Wiersbicki, the hitting coach for Carolina, will continue to pound away at these power numbers. That is something that they pride themselves on, is being able to score in buckets. And for them to do what they want to do in the depth of run for the season, that home run will be something that they're going to want to find.
Good elevation of the fastball there from Hunter. And that offense was explosive. 12 runs over Kansas State, 11 runs yesterday. Of course, the home run really kicked things off from Stevenson. Here's Hunter's 0-2. That's a really good pitch and a backwards K.
Good spot there by Jake, and Bass doesn't like it, but it's been there all night, and Has some words with the home plate umpire, who seems to be hearing it from both sides tonight, and then the third side being the fans. But again, we've seen that pitch called a strike off and on throughout the night, and that was one of the times it was ruled to be a strike.
And it's your job as a pitcher to exploit that if you see the zone expanding.
Oh, yeah, he'd love to pound that spot. Not a whole lot can be done with it.
The ever-dangerous Hunter Stokely now up. His legs have been a factor tonight. His power bat, who missed almost all of last season due to injury. A huge bat now in his redshirt senior year, with some attention being paid to Stevenson. Here's Hunter's first pitch, and it is crushed through the gap, beat the shift, and a base hit. Going station to station this time.
Yeah, thought a little more of it than run on Peltier's arm. He does have a pretty good throwing arm out there in right field. But you're right, that ball is hit firmly through the right side, and that may be one of the first balls we've seen him pull in this series.
Seven hits on the weekend for Hunter Stokely. Maybe no player happier there's games Tuesday and Wednesday on the Carolina schedule than Hunter Stokely. That's a stretch of 5 straight game days for Carolina. Kellis lays up in the count.
You know, when you're hot, you want to stay hot. You want to keep getting to the plate, and these Tar Heel hitters will have a couple more days of it, and some of these guys have a chance to figure some things out as well.
Nobody was on a better heater last year than Anthony D'Onofrio. He had a 40-game reach base streak in the months of March and April that trickled into ACC play. Stokely, at least through 2 weeks, is on a similar type of run. Because Hunter, as a junior, came out of the gates second on the team in batting average, third in doubles, was a top 10 ACC hitter. And he's been proving his worth tonight, a 3-0 count as this at-bat continues. Now Hunter in a 3-0 hole. And this time he finds the corner, strike 2.
But, you know, that's a situation there where you're almost better off, to go to 3-2 with 2 outs. Now you put the runners in scoring in motion and gives you a chance to score 2 on a base hit.
Opens up a lot of options for Scott Ford's club. Here's the 3-2. Runners break late and ball 4. And that has been a bugaboo for this Pirate staff tonight.
Yeah, you could see Jake Hunter's frustration with that. He above all of them, know that, you know, I'm the senior guy in the pen and I can't come in and give these guys extra opportunities, and just sells that fastball high, gets away from them, and loads the bases for the DH, Angelo. And again, we talked about it earlier. Angelo has some serious pop, big home run numbers at Montclair State. Yet to hit one this year.
Hit 20 a year ago, moving up to the D1 level this year. And 9 walks for this Pirate staff. And that time called a bit down. Yeah, that's been the story of the night.
You know, it's almost like when it's I'm trying to kind of figure out when it's left-hand hitters, he's less likely to get the call as it has been on the right-handed hitters. Seems to me anyway.
Good use to change his speed. Yeah, the righties get that low and away strike. The lefties more the up in the zone strike. Sam Angelo would love a signature at bat early in his Carolina tenure. This slow chopper could create some problems. Nice scoop over at first, and Irby able to make the play. North Carolina strands the bases loaded, but add a run to its lead. The Alex Madera double helping out the cause. 6-2 UNC. Pitching change coming up for the Heels when we return. One of the talented new arms for the Carolina Tar Heels, the Gatorade Pitcher of the Year in the state. Cameron Seagraves gets some action here. The Grace Christian Academy product outside of nearby Fayetteville, North Carolina. This is a big outing against a quality opponent, an opportunity to keep this a 4-run game.
Yeah, you know, he comes in, again, accolades coming out of high school, and yet another one of these Carolina arms that, you know, this would be a little bit younger than what we've seen, but guys working their way into find their roles with this program. He's already been out there a couple times this year, and moderate success. We'll see how he does here against this Pirate lineup.
Graves with a slider fastball combination that can sit low to mid-90s. And even Scott Forbes noting in the preseason the depth of this staff that really impresses him. Seagraves, that next piece, the freshman out of the pen. After a really good start from Aiden Hauk, who gets the double-digit strikeouts and holds ECU to just 2 runs. So here's Seagraves coming in to face the heart of the Pirate order with Dixon Williams, 4.56. And Seagraves making his first appearance of the series. Yanks that one inside, 91 to get his freshman road debut.
Yeah, that effort again to get inside on Dixon just misses, almost catch him in the kneecap.
Williams expected to be an anchor now in year 3 of this Pirate order. One of the 2 key returners for Cliff Godwin. And that time the breaking pitch called outside. You're right, great night to be a lefty in the box. Seagraves in a bit of a jam. And dots it up inside, 3-0.
You know, that's what the Tar Heel pitching staff don't want to do is give life to this crowd here, get them back involved, and make this a tougher atmosphere to try to finish this game in.
5,000 plus ready to come to life here in Greenville.
Yeah, all that needs a reason.
We've seen some dramatics in this series the last 3 years. Here's the 3-1. And there's a leadoff man on for East Carolina.
Yeah, we saw Matthew Mateus down in the bullpen earlier. I don't know if he's still up. Can't get a clean look at who's down there tossing, but you can't imagine that they're going to, they being the Tar Heels, are going to have too long of a leash with the young freshman.
And that is Mateus, to your point. Nearby product, D.H. Conley High School, just down the street. Let's see if small ball becomes a factor for Keenan Bowman here. And instead taking a strike.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting time to turn that switch on when you're chasing 4 at the midpoint of the game, even on the back part of the game. But again, we've seen it before, and the thought process could be, hey, let's just put some pressure on their defense and make them get us out. We'll see if they stay with it.
Back-to-back really good fastballs from Seagraves.
Bowman quickly buried in this count.
This will be a big test for the first-year Pirate product, down 0-2. Really good stop.
Yeah, that ball didn't make it, but about 55.5 feet. Good job by the highly thought-of catcher Stevenson behind the plate.
In an ACC where Rentaro Sasaki, the Japanese standout, maybe the best ACC freshman coming in. These are big innings for Cam Seagraves, one of the best pitchers out of North Carolina last year. And a good stop for 2-2.
I'll tell you what, Stevenson takes a quick look down at Dixon Williams at first base. Dixon was a little stuck between the reeds, knowing that did it get quite far enough away. Stevenson, a really good arm. Took a little cat and mouse game there between the two of them.
Here's the 2-2. Back up the middle. Madeira, good footwork, and turns the double play.
Really good play by Madeira. Takes a look over at Dixon Williams, who went in, threw his hands up in the air. And
had some questions about a possible interference there.
Yeah, that's right. You'll see it here. Dixon goes in. Madeira fields the ball right on top of the bag, basically, and throws the hands in the air. And, Madeira looking for an interference. Doesn't matter. He turns the double play anyway.
Here's Roger Vergara, who came in defensively. First career plate appearance earlier tonight. Now lays a bunt. Pitcher grabs it, and Seagraves is late. That is a infield bunt single, and I believe the first hit of Roger's career.
Yeah, and that's the young freshman getting a little aggressive and bouncing off the mound and fielding that ball. Makes a nice play on it barehanded. But you'll see if the third baseman is allowed to take that ball, he may have a shot at him at first. The pitcher certainly is not going to make that play, at least not on a routine basis. But don't imagine that was called by Coach Palumbo. That was Vergara just looking to do something to help his club and just wanted to get on base.
The athletic training staff going to take a quick look at Roger, who was a bit gimpy with that left leg once he stepped on the base.
He's grabbing the hamstring, and that's that's never a good thing. It's cooled off a little bit here tonight, and maybe staying loose is a little bit of a challenge. But
let's watch Roger at the end of this run.
Even right there, he kind of pulls up just a little bit even before getting to the bag, and you see him go right to the left hamstring. And we'll see if they stay with him. The other middle infield option would be Parham, which he was actually taking balls at first base in pregame. So we'll see what the thought is there if they try to give Vergara a chance to loosen it up and stay in the game.
Good news to see Vergara back. He should call Alex Boucher's quote-unquote cousin, Bobby Boucher, and ask for some Gatorade to help him out.
You couldn't help it, could you?
I told you I'd bring him in a couple times this year.
So it looks like Coach Godwin's taking exception with something. Let's see if we can figure out. I think he's arguing that they made a trip, that Stevenson walk out there during that break and have a conversation with the pitcher.
Oh, but then the counter-argument is it's an injury timeout.
And you saw Coach Palumbo. Now, I will tell you, I do find credence in this, not just off the fact that Cliff went out, but the fact that Jeff Palumbo came down. He normally is not very animated and does not typically get involved in these conversations unless he feels strongly about something. So, again, I'm not sure exactly what this would be.
This American Athletic crew led by Steve Sanders having a quick chat. More in the minutia of who called time, who initiated the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Okay, so here at the end of the play, the injury timeout.
So this would constitute a trip typically, would be the argument. But I don't know with an injury timeout, and you don't see the home plate umpire ever signify the trip, but it looks like he's writing something down, and whatever Cliff asked for, he's satisfied, and there's the
trip is charged
to the Tar Heel dugout.
Okay, so we saw another look at this. Looks like Steve Sanders does call time.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about the time call so much as he never signaled the trip count. He never gave that signal back to the dugout, which he ultimately has done now, and I think all is right with the world.
Our accounting is in order right before tax season.
Right. Everybody's in. The pot is right.
Call you H&R Mullis. First pitch dives in the dirt to Colby Wallace, who's projected to be a huge power bat in this Pirate order this year.
Both of these guys are from down in that Fayetteville area. I'm sure that they have probably crossed paths in the not too distant past.
That pitch dots the top of the zone for strike one.
Compared to last year, and obviously the the struggles for Colby are well documented, but he just seems antsier in the box. And, understandably so. Last year he was so well protected in that lineup with all the big bats that left.
Hit 260 as a freshman behind a couple of all-conference standouts, and Carter Cunningham, Ryan McChrystal, and Jacob Jenkins-Cowart.
But for this Pirate offense to do what they want to do, he's got to figure it out.
And tonight a ground out and a strikeout for Wallace, the uber-talented sophomore. Seagraves challenges him with a breaking ball. Good snag for Gallagher. They'll take the lead out to end the inning.
Vergara's a little gimpy.
We'll keep tabs on Vergara after this timeout. 6 innings of work. The Carolina pitching staff, the story so far, and a 4-run lead for the Tar Heels. Oh, nice.
Jake Hunter's back out.
Obviously need to eat innings, you know. It's like.
Yeah, but he's coming off Tommy John. He pitched yesterday, he's pitched today, and it's cold out.
You bring up a fair point. Yeah, if you already have an arm worm in the pen, you might as well just, yeah.
The most I've seen him throw is 30 pitches at an outing. And that was, the week before the season started.
Yeah.
At this time, Junior Law Group invites all active, reserve, or retired members of the military to stand and be recognized. Thank you to all the veterans in attendance today.
Does Cliff just want to get thrown out?
We continue our Spotlight Black History Month and famous Pirate athletes here in Greenville, North Carolina. How about the Hall of Famer Butch Davis? He still owns the Pirate record with 10 triples, had a great big league career with the Royals. 8-year tenure, played back in the late 70s, early 80s. And one of the names that's worth mentioning at this time of the year to bring up his influence, both on Pirate baseball and this community, a nice touch to some of the former players of yesteryear for a proud program here in East Carolina. 34 regional appearances for the Pirates, 36 for Carolina, 2 of the premier teams here in the state. Not only a nice chance to honor the past, but talk about this rivalry of the present, where the last 12 meetings are 6-6 apiece. Very dynamic. As Jake Hunter goes back to work, second inning of relief in the pen. It's been all Carolina tonight after the Pirates scored first. And here in the top of the 7th, Jackson Vanderbrake will lead things off. This will get popped up back behind us.
Really interesting to see Jake Hunter back out. Obviously been well documented his, rehab and recovery from having arm issues through yesterday, like we alluded to earlier, and then comes back out after a little break there. So probably an effort to try to work him in and extend his outings just to get him in full shape.
Hunter mixes the slider in for a strike. To your point, a full weekend starter, Jake Hunter, who they hope to ramp up back into that role as the season progresses. Works on his third inning of relief on the weekend, facing Vanderbrake. That's a good slider, but called down.
Cooled off to 56 degrees, but it was so warm earlier, it feels it's a little chilly.
That's where the blankets come into play. Another foul ball. Much better than the forecast was on Friday night. I believe it was in the teens on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it
would have been a much different story for 5 o'clock start.
Brutal run at the end of last week. Hopefully that's all behind us.
Good news, sunny skies the rest of the week here in the Carolinas. Here's the 2-2. A patient take from Vanderbrake, who's in his senior season. Jackson will turn 23 this spring, elected to come back for his redshirt senior year. The third Vanderbrake to play college ball, and he's looking to make the most of this final season. Earns a walk. Now double-digit free passes for Pirate Arms.
Yeah, leadoff walks are a bugaboo, and one of those things, again, that just drive coaches crazy.
Adding to it, 22 walks on the weekend for Cliff Godwin's staff, which was a a big strength of the Pirates last year, pitching to contact, low ERA.
You know, you certainly didn't want to do that in this situation where you walk the 8-spot guy, brings the 9-spot guy, and flips the lineup to where, you know, potentially you've got to face the top of the order with less outs than you might have had.
A slow roller might help. Gallagher to short, and a double play turn.
That's what they needed. That's the only way you make it right? That's the only way you get rid of that leadoff walk is to throw a double play ball. By the way, we do have Parham in at second base. It looks like Vergara did go out with that hamstring or upper leg injury. Nice job on the turn there for just having come in the game.
Yeah, first action for the Asheville native, Nick Parham. Two quick outs for Jake Hunter here in the 7th, and he flips a pitch just high to Kane Kepley in the top of this Carolina order. You know it's cold when the extra layers are on top for the kids tonight. Big local youth baseball presence here in Greenville. A great town, both for baseball at the high school, Little League, and at least the collegiate level tonight. But right now, Coach Scott Forbes' club off to a really good start. Not only undefeated, but the pitching staff has carried the load here in Game 3 of this series. And a nasty splitter to get the strikeout. Jake Hunter, 2 innings of quality work out of the Pirate bullpen. Time to stretch here in Greenville. Little Monday Night Baseball rolling. 6-2 ball game, plenty of game left. But right now, all Tar Heels. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina. Good Tar Heel contingent in town as well. And UNC a few innings away from earning the series sweep over East Carolina. A fun matchup with the 2 winningest programs by total wins over the last 10 years. And right now, the Carolina Arms have been the story of this game. Cameron Seagraves back out for his 2nd inning of work and gives up weak contact foul from Walker Barron. UNC club fresh off a trip to Omaha a year ago, reloading in the pen and showing that strength. Another breaking ball for a strike. Pirates 3 of the last 4 innings have had the leadoff man on, but not much to show for it for Cliff Godwin's offense. As Barron late on the breaking ball, another strikeout.
Tell you what, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That was pretty efficient work by Seagraves. That his stuff is really, really good. The tilt on this breaking ball is next level.
It's easy to see why young Seagraves was one of the best pitchers in the state of North Carolina a year ago. Grew up about 45 minutes outside of Fayetteville, closer to Rockingham, and he's making an impact. Was not among the top 10 prospects according to D1 Baseball as a true freshman coming in, but he is showing some great stuff. As Alex Boucher takes another strike.
Tell you what, that little breaking ball will play, and he throws it off that 91, 92 mile an hour fastball that's got a little life. Man, when he grows into a full-grown man and continues to develop, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
We've seen a year ago in the ACC what young freshmen could do. Think of Jacob Duden at NC State, freshman All-American reliever. Seagraves is showing a similar trajectory. He's now a 3-1 count.
You know what's funny, and in this outing, we've seen kind of the tale of two cities. We've seen him bounce balls. He threw a 55-footer a little bit ago and spiked another one. But, man, when he controls it, it's good stuff.
Here's the 3-1. He cannot get the call that time. A one-out walk for East Carolina. And it just feels like every inning the Pirates have started something but not able to create much off of it.
Yeah, you know what? Some of that's or a lot of it's got to do with the defense that this Tar Heel team plays. They've turned a couple big double plays, and again, their pitchers have kept them in it for sure. I mean, they've been not quite dominant, but certainly very good.
There's Matt Mateus warming up with the pen if need be. He's been throwing for about 3 innings now. And here's the top of this Pirate lineup. Peltier takes a pitch down.
Pirate faithful trying to get back in it a little bit. It's been a little bit stale for a while.
An East Carolina team that had double-digit comeback wins when trailing after 5 a year ago. It was a feisty group under Cliff Godwin, 46 wins. And this team tested tonight down 4. Here's one of 22 freshmen for Cliff Godwin, who has 2 hits in the series. And now a hitter's count.
Seagraves up to 93 with that fastball, gets away from him.
Five innings and 10-game ball from Aiden Houck. Now it's up to Seagraves, the true freshman, who gives up a hard hit, base hit. Right over Stokely's head. Second and third, and then some. Pirates threatening here in the 7th.
Yeah, for everybody who's complained about the turf, I think this should make you a fan of it. This ball just kind of chopped right out in front, it looks like. And see it off the turf, takes the big turf bounce over the first baseman's head and into the, not quite into the corner for a double.
The first double of Peltier's career. He's smelling it. He's loving it.
Well, that kind of goes back to what we talked about. You know, he had such tough luck yesterday. There was a little bit of good luck for him.
So now in a 4-run game, things get real interesting. And here comes Scott Forbes.
Yep, I think that'll obviously be the end of his night. And Kalinic at the plate trying to implore the Pirate faithful to get involved. And I imagine we're going to see Matthew Mateus at this point.
A little more energy from a place that was rocking around 5 o'clock tonight. And yeah, call to the bullpen has been made. So North Carolina goes deeper into its pen. The Pirates threatening 2 on, 1 out. What can Cliff Godwin's team drop against the homegrown Matt Mateus, Greenville native, facing his hometown team? A fun matchup for many reasons when we come back on ESPN+. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina, where the hometown Matt Mateus gets the ball out of the bullpen. D.H. Connolly stand out. He's pitched in this park before last year in a big matchup to close out the series. Now looks to shut down the 7th. Not just Mateus, but it is loaded with kids, local experience. We know to Dixon Williams, the nearby Greenville native as well. Now for Mateus, who's had an up and down year to his junior campaign after a prolific sophomore season. It's a big spot facing some former teammates, Boucher from down the street at South Central High School. I love when these local kids can meet up and compete on the diamond here.
Yeah, kind of cool. Williams and Mateus actually teammates there at Conley and faced Rose and Boucher throughout their high school career and back in the Little League and all the days before. So, yeah, cool when these guys get back together. And, you know, we talked about it earlier, man. There's a huge Eastern North Carolina flavor on both these rosters.
And the latest chapter right here with a reliever who was top 10 in the country in appearances a year ago, Matt Mateus. He now faces a dangerous spot, 2-3-4 in the Pirate order, thanks in large part to a bouncing double off the turf for Alex Peltier.
Yeah, Mateus's numbers are improved a little bit. His first outing was the rockiest one of the year, but you know, a guy preseason, everybody's All-American bullpen guy, you know, all ACC picks. I mean, you know, he's a guy that is very well respected, very well known throughout the area and all of college baseball as being a guy that could come in out of the pen and
a second-team All-American a year ago, to your point. High accolades for the hometown native, ACC All-Third-Team member Mateus, and the Raleigh Crayolas. I knew there was something special about Greenville fans. Looking to draw up a comeback here in the 7th. 2 on, 1 out. And a first pitch hack.
You know, Mateus not a guy that possesses a super dominant fastball. It's the secondary stuff and the willingness to compete in the zone is what has made him so effective. This moment definitely isn't too big for him.
Michael Kalinich has reached base twice. Here's the 0-1. He's off. An East Carolina team that watched North Carolina pull away in the late innings yesterday for a 5-run win. Now they want to flip the script tonight. And a swing and a miss. Good pitch. '85 innings in Mateus's career. Coming off a career best in batting average against, high whiff rate. Has some elusive stuff. And now the 1-2. Tests with a fastball.
You know, he goes kind of splitty down there, back-to-back pitches, and then comes back fastball 91, top of the zone. Man, that thing had to look like it was 100 after seeing the 2 off-speed offerings before it.
A crowd waiting to come to life here in Greenville. It was a 1-0 lead after 1, all UNC since. Now the 1-2. Got him chasing with the splitter.
Yeah, and that's his deal, man. He just sets you up and kind of baits you into getting himself into a position and he can throw that pitch, and that thing is, with that arm slide and that tilt, it's just going to be hard to lay off of.
Big number, 12 punch-outs for the Carolina staff tonight. The starter, Houck, gets 10. Seagraves helps out. And now it's Mateus' turn. Here's Austin Irby to the plate. And Irby, first pitch hacking. Austin 1 RBI, but hitless this year with men in scoring position. Couple of chances early in his tenure. The first-year Pirate product. And takes strike 2.
This is where Mateus is so tough. He's got you buried in this count, and you got to worry about the location of the fastball, or does he come back with that nasty splitty that just bottoms out? See if Irby can fight him.
Here's the 0-2. Gets a piece. Slow roller to Van der Break. And Matt Mateus, returning to his hometown, gets out of the threat. Nice bullpen work from the Tar Heels, eliminating a huge threat for East Carolina. 4-run lead as we go to the 8th.
We call it drive. The unrelenting desire to become the person you were born to be. Ignited by a moment. The realization that a future you could only dream of is within reach. At East Carolina University, you won't just imagine a path. You'll forge one through hard work and the success that comes without surrender. The journey that leads to your future. And this is where it begins.
There's only one way to win. It doesn't have shortcuts. It's a spirit to outwork, outsmart, and outlast the competition.
Catch me if you can.
It demands boldness, grit, and guts. It says we can, we will. It's what separates us from the rest. There's only one way to greatness, and that's the American way.
Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina. This game has been a tale of two games. Early on, ECU threatening offensively, but the Hunter Stokely home run made a big difference. Then a quality start from Aiden Howe, career-high 10 strikeouts. And that Pirate number, Moley, a big number, 0 of 8 with men on the bases.
Yeah, that's a big deal, man. I mean, you know, getting on base is one thing. You've got to be able to score, right? So you've got to count on your buddies to drive you in, and that's an area that the Pirates have certainly struggled.
And then Matt Mateus, the homegrown native for UNC, gets a big out and the latest threat for the Pirates. This sets up an opportunity for one of ECU's most highly used arms from a year ago. Now a sophomore, Jackson DiLorenzo's had some control issues early in the sophomore season.
Yeah, he's already 8 walks on the young season, and you know, I think this is more of an effort of, hey, he's got to kind of figure it out, and they're going to run him out there and see if he again can clean something up and help his team to stay in this game. That kind of 88 to 91 fastball at the slider, but he's got to be able to locate it. The stuff just isn't dominant enough to beat a Tar Heel lineup like this one.
So Jackson DiLorenzo, you see the high ERA coming in off a nice freshman campaign, and he'll face Alex Madera, who's turned a couple of good double plays tonight.
Yeah, right now the biggest thing that D'Lo wants to do again is fill the zone up and find the confidence of being able to pitch again.
20 outings a year ago, a 3-to-1 K to walk ratio, but that's gone awry in the first couple weeks for D'Lo. 8 walks to 2 Ks. Unfortunately, that's been the story for the Pirates staff, especially this weekend. And now a pop-up out of play. But this is an arm if you're Cliff Godwin. If East Carolina wants to get back to a regional, even host at that level, they need a back-end reliever that can shut things down.
Yeah, I don't know that D'Lo becomes like the shutdown arm, but I do think he's a guy that could be a setup type guy. Again, just kind of a two-pitch guy, but he's got to command the zone.
Another pop-up for Madera. This might give Bowman a chance. Good hustle, but overruns it. Just a long foul ball.
Yeah, that's a recruited infielder that's converting into the outfield, and ball probably got up above the lights a little bit, and he just, like you said, he just overran the baseball.
Easier said than done on a windy night like this. So now a 2-2 count. And the slow slider tests the defense of the Pirates. All over at the shortstop that time, Boucher.
Yeah, nice play by Boucher there. Comes in and makes that look a little easier than it was. Tell you what, when he gets his glove on it, he has absolutely got a cannon for an arm. Pirate pitching already 10 walks tonight. That's can't do that and have a chance to beat good teams.
And that's allowed North Carolina to take advantage, including the 3-run second. That's really been the difference tonight. And here's the man who's done a ton of that damage. Luke Stevenson, 3 walks and a single. Lays off that pitch. I do think overall the patience of this Tar Heel lineup is what makes them a dangerous team come March, come April, with conference play looming.
$88 mile an hour fastball center cut. Stevens is probably thinking, I wish I hadn't been quite so patient on that one. That was.
Yeah, no doubt that's the risk reward of.
Yeah, the ball had hit me written all over it.
So DiLorenzo gets away with a cookie. Now he gives up a high pop-up. Williams calling for it. There's the second out. East Carolina in the bottom half of the inning will have Dixon in the heart of the order coming up next.
You know, this is what D'Lo can do if he'll continue to pound the zone, as he can get the soft contact and, you know, create the opportunity to make quick innings. Now it's a matter of seeing if he can finish it.
The battling Bishop transfer, Tyson Bass, making the most of that first pitch. And he's coming swinging a bat red hot. Hits in 7 of his first 8 games. Or pardon me, 6 of his first 7 games as a Tar Heel product. And finding his teammate Gavin Gallagher there with a foul ball. Corner infielders never fall asleep. Doesn't matter if you're on offense or defense. That's why if a foul ball comes to us, your window's open and my window's closed.
I got you.
We put the athletes in the right spots. With Mike Mullis, I'm EvanBudrovich, our producer Kyle Gaskins, director Mike Miles, and so many others involved tonight. Here's the 0-2. And quick work in the 8th for Jackson DiLorenzo. 3 up, 3 down.
Good to see him have a clean outing.
A golden sombrero of strikeouts for Bass, but his Tar Heels up 4 through 8. Welcome back to Greenville. Here's what's cooking for the home team. East Carolina continues a homestand to open up the season, including the famous LeClerc Classic, Kent State, Indiana State, and Virginia Tech to honor the longtime head coach here at ECU. Before a quick roadie, and then we'll come back to host Coastal Carolina. That's a good squad. Coastal just beat Alabama and NC State over the weekend down in Jacksonville. One thing about both Cliff Godwin and Scott Forbes, not afraid to schedule difficult in the first month.
No, it's a big deal. As prominent as the RPI comes into the postseason picture. So something that both these staffs have kind of prided themselves on. A little easier in the ACC.
Yeah, but the regionality, there's been years with multiple hosts in these two states, including just last year, Carolina and ECU, both regional hosts. Right now in the top 25, you have Carolina, Florida State, Wake, and Duke out of the ACC. And you'll see many others fluctuate throughout the year. Here's the 1-1 to Dixon Williams facing his high school teammate. If anything, for the sport and the local impact, Mike, you have such a knowledge of coaching these guys at the local prep level. Such a cool opportunity for these two getting after it.
Sure. Stories they could tell, right? The time they've spent together, and two very competitive guys.
One an All-American candidate, one a powerful impact bat for the Pirates and one of the best players in the American Athletic. Here's the 2-2, and that matchup ends in a strikeout for Mateus.
They just kind of blew that fastball top of the zone by Dixon, and he wins that matchup. Again, it's amazing in today's game, especially the college game. These guys will work the top of that strike zone, and, man, just so hard to lay off.
John Collins will pitch hit. The Boston College transfer comes in for East Carolina.
Yeah, he's part of the catching core. We saw him yesterday get a pinch hit AB, and I think he saw one pitch and pulled it into left center field for a knock and gets to first base, and they lift him. They don't even let the big man run over there. But
Rumble, young man Rumble. Got a hit in his first career at bat in the ECU purple and gold. Plays off the splitter this time. 12 starts a year ago for Coach Interdonato at Boston College.
He's a guy that this Pirate staff talks about, his exit velocities and all, something that's immeasurable with all the analytics and metrics, and he leads the team by a large margin in average exit velocities. So hits the ball really hard.
What can the grad senior do here? Another hard swing. Collins comes off the bench and smokes a home run.
That was kind of on cue, wasn't it?
The exit velo leader does it again.
Saw him do a lot of that as far as good swings and firm contact throughout the fall and early spring, and so far he's thinking this thing's kind of easy. He's 2 for 2 in the Pirate purple and gold, and I imagine that'll be enough to get him some more playing time.
No pitch runner needed tonight with a mammoth home run.
Guess he was a little more patient in this at bat. He waited to the second pitch he saw, and I mean, that's just an absolute line drive. The park wasn't big enough to hold.
First home run in the Pirate uniform and the 8th of the year for this East Carolina offense. All of a sudden, a 3-run game. Here's Nick Parham, who came in defensively 2 innings ago.
You know, if you're Matthew Mateus, you have some room to work with, right? So giving up a solo home run isn't a big deal. I'm sure he's not at all shaken by that, and he'll come right back after these next couple of hitters.
Mateus, who was top 10 in the country in innings worked a year ago out of the pen, only gave up 5 home runs. He was really good at limiting that big contact.
Well, I will tell you, he may found a little satisfaction in striking out his high school teammate in Dixon, and then had a little lapse in mentality there for just a second.
Here's the 1-1. A little late on that breaking ball, 1-2.
I would be willing to bet you'll get to look at this slider a couple times here, Parham, and see if you can do anything with it. I'm sorry, they splitty.
Jack Herring, Roger Vergara, and now Nick Parham. 3 different hitters in this spot in the order. Good battle with 2 strikes.
Kind of backed up on him a little bit there. That was not his best one.
Matt Mateus returning to his hometown, back-to-back years out of the Carolina pen, working in a 3-run lead. Here's the 1-2. Another hard hit ball, but there's Van de Breek. And the Carolina bullpen limits it to 1 run. There's 2 outs. Those Carolina pinstripes look fantastic tonight, as do the East Carolina gold. These are 2 prominent colors in the state when it comes to college baseball success. And here's Colby Wallace.
Colby up there trying to get to that fastball early so he doesn't have to deal with the splitty. But again, he finds himself in an 0-1 count, and guess what? I think he's going to have to deal with the splitty regardless.
East Carolina 0 of 8 with men in scoring position. It's been the big swings that have made the difference. Now down to their final strike here in the 8th.
Yeah, there it was, and that thing is just, I mean, that's just nasty. I don't know how many times he could throw it for a strike without the swing, but it's so hard to lay off of. That's why he gets so much swing and miss on it.
Matt Mateus now had 0-2 on a suddenly quiet Clark LeClaire Stadium. Wallace brings them back to life.
Yeah, you had to know it was either going to be fastball up or the splitty again, so I think you're probably looking at your same kind of pick your poison situation here.
The battle continues on this special Monday night for Game 3. Here's the 0-2, and that splitter is working perfectly. A strikeout for Mateus to end the 8th. East Carolina, though, gets 1 back. The pitch hitter, John Collins, earns his slot in the order. 3-run game here in Greenville, 1 inning to go on ESPN+. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina. Here's what's cooking for the Carolina Tar Heels. We noted some of the changes with the midweek. NCA&T get pushed back to the upcoming weekend. And a fun midweek test, Coastal and College at Charleston. These next 2 weeks are critical before UNC gears up for ACC play against Stanford.
Yeah, you know what? I think it works out well for them. Again, you get something rolling. They've obviously been really good all year, at least from a wins-loss standpoint, and you get it rolling and play into it. I mean, what do baseball players do? They play baseball, and you got decent weather to do it in, and 2 teams in A&T and Stony Brook that you feel like you should have a good chance where you can get some guys out there. First, they obviously got VCU, but, good for them.
Yeah, it's a busy week for the Tar Heels. Gabe Beschloss, true freshman, his second outing of the weekend, enters for Cliff Godwin, and that's been the story of this week. 8 relievers yesterday. Many of those who come in today, including DiLorenzo, White, Hunter, and Beschloss. Actually, a pretty similar trend, as Hunter Stokely gets a good hack to open up the 9th inning.
You know, we've seen Pirate pitching staffs manage this way where you kind of quilt it together and you know, Cliff has kind of been notorious for being a high pitch change or pitcher change kind of guy. So I guess we're headed back down that path for the season, at least until they get fully healthy.
That pitch is chip foul. Stokely's made a huge impact tonight. 2 hits, another hit by pitch as well. And the Carolina team had started 5-0 a year ago, off to a similar trend here in 2025.
Yeah, you got to think with Towers and Antolik come back for the Pirates, that'll free up 2 guys to go into that bullpen or even midweek spots.
Stokely, a 3-hit game with a hard hit single back up the middle.
Yeah, all he does is hit, man. I mean, he is a gifted hitter and a huge addition back to this lineup, like you said earlier after the injuries from last year.
Not just the plate discipline, but getting his bat back healthy after only playing a week last season. And there's another grad transfer in Rom Kellis. That one's fisted foul. North Carolina, who has a tough opening to the ACC, Stanford and Louisville the first 2 weeks. That pitch stays outside.
2 teams that make perfect sense when you're referring to the ACC, Stanford and Louisville.
You get all the coasts and the directions here in the conference. And Stanford traditionally a power outside the top 25, which is a rarity for them. As that pitch stays up. But within this state, Wake Forest, Duke have done. North Carolina, NC State ranked in the preseason, East Carolina, preseason receiving votes, and will certainly bounce back here in the coming days. That 2-1's chip foul. .8:15, and those kids are ready to roll. No bedtime needed here in Greenville. Now the 2-2. Then again, the caveat of doing your homework on a Monday night or going to a great college baseball game. I understand the enthusiasm. The 2-2, slow chopper. Wallace charging, hangs on for the first out. Really good footwork from Parham over there.
Yeah, nice play by Parham. Turned into a first baseman there, and the ball kind of pulled him. Stokely's being asked by Coach Forbes, were you on or were you out? And
now
trying to make a decision on the review, and it looks like we're probably going to go to an instant replay.
Yeah, watch that back foot of Parham. Yeah, that looks clean.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question he's out there. I don't. But, you know, I guess it's now,
remember, in these late innings, this can be an umpire-initiated review as well.
Well, hold on there. If that's any indication. If that's the angle, let's see. We get a little better look at it here. On the bag there.
Yeah, this will be reviewed.
And I think that's this is one of those situations. Is there enough to overturn it? It was an out call on the field. Stokely didn't feel real strongly about it. It was just a matter of, did he have quote-unquote possession of the ball and contact at the base at the same time? You know.
From first glance, that seems to be the case. But
yeah, look
you bring up
out
a good
to
question. Parham didn't bobble that ball either, which sometimes can be a factor.
Yeah, it looked like it may have rolled around in the glove a little bit, but he still had it in the glove. So I would think it, you know, and I know there's some language about securing the glove, but I think this will stand up. And Stokely checking his pants, a little hole in his pants maybe.
He's been a busy man on the bases tonight.
Well, when you hit it like he has been, I mean, he's been playing slow pitch softball out here for the last couple of days. Take another look at it here. Wallace comes in, really tough play on the run there. He didn't realize that, you know, he had a little more time than maybe he gave himself credit for there, because obviously Stokely's barely coming into frame here. And It looks to me like there's the catch. The ball's still in the glove.
And here's the call.
And we have confirmation.
Easy peasy.
I would imagine that conversation with something like, man, it's top of the ninth. You know, I mean, he's going to be out. Let's see. Coach Forbes is having a conversation with him about something here. It's like maybe we'll get a pinch runner here at first base.
And a pitch hitter for the Tar Heels. McAdoo Dye, the Liberty transfer at the catching spot following his head coach and Scott Forbes. Liberty off to a good start, 5-2 overall as well. It just shows in baseball how quickly can have a good one-year turnaround.
We got a
and Carter French will come in to run over at first base.
There you go, partner.
It's a team effort, Mr. Millis, especially as we dip near 3.5 hours tonight here in Greenville.
Well, we had all ideas the fans would get their money's worth. We knew there'd be a lot of pitching changes and some back and forth, and there's been all of the above.
Gabe Beschloss into the game for the Pirates, and he pounds the zone. ECU in the bottom half will have 8-9-1. Down just 3. The 3-quarter rule, still to this day, I'm slightly confused on how it's interpreted.
You pick the first 45-degree rule. Yeah, I mean, I get as much as you can. If they don't call it, it's not a ball.
No doubt. One of the many fun interpretations of baseball. There's a big swing and a miss. I say that more as a runner who got picked off many times by a lefty.
Well, I tell you what, there was a guy that pitched here, Sam Nair, back in the day that had as good a pickoff move as you'll ever see. And to hear him teach it is pretty impressive.
There's a pop-up to center. All of a sudden it gets very dark, hard to get much travel out to center field tonight. There's a second out. And since the 4th inning, this Pirate bullpen has been pretty good. Here's Jackson Vandenbrake, year 5 in a Tar Heel uniform. Was elite as a junior 2 years prior. And showing some good signs tonight. Puts a big swing there on 91.
Yeah, Beschloss could get it up there, 91, 92, even touch some threes, but you know, it's been the secondary stuff is kind of the story for him.
You hear the grimace in the finish there from Beschloss. He's a hard thrower from Long Island, New York. Now in a 1-1 count.
I'll tell you what, I know he's digging in the glove late, but it really feels like it's almost a balk. Like he's not quite set before he comes to the mound. Obviously, the umpires haven't called it yet, but maybe something to watch out as the season goes on. Again, I know he's digging for grip, but that glove barely gets quiet.
Second appearance of the series for a heavily taxed Pirate bullpen that gears up for Old Dominion on Wednesday. North Carolina will be back in action tomorrow with ECU and then A&T Wednesday before Stony Brook comes to town out of the CAA. Now a pickoff. Good move from Beschloss. A rundown ensures. And a good tag from the pitcher to end the inning. We noted the good quick pick of the lefty, and that gets the 9th inning complete. Bottom half we go. Pirates down 3. Last chance for the home faithful when we return. Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina, and the hometown Matt Mateus. He's limited damage in his 1 2/3 of relief to give up a home run back in the 8th inning. Now he comes in to close this game out in the 9th. 3-run lead for the Tar Heels and pounding the zone against Walker Barron, 8-9-1 in the Pirate order.
Yeah, really the only blemish on an otherwise clean line is the home run that we saw the pinch hitter hit late in the last inning.
Barron is 1 for 3 tonight as one of the 7 hits for East Carolina. And a slow chopper that rolls foul. Despite the fact North Carolina has dominated this game, any bit of offense here in the 9th creates some interesting drama in this inning. ECU's bullpen's done its part, giving up just 1 run since the 4th. And now the 0-2. It's fought off. A pizza to go on a fun night. Here's the 0-2. Laying off that time.
Tell you what, it's a great job to take that pitch because that's that nasty splitty. And again, man, Walker Barron has really put together some great ABs this season already.
Now the 1-2. Nice take. Best at bat of the night for Walker Barron here to start the 9th inning. Here's pitch 30 from Greenville native Matt Mateus. And the splitter's working. 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, again, man, that's just tough to get to. And, you know, Walker Barron's kind of got a really direct, like almost down swing. His stroke's a little different than what you see out of a lot of the other Pirate hitters. And so kind of a tough matchup there. You see, I mean, he gets off a decent swing on it, but it just bottoms out. He nicks a little bit of it, but Stevenson able to catch it for the 3rd strike.
That's been the difference maker. Good pitching tonight. Aiden Houck on his way to a first win. 5 innings, 10 Ks. And then this bullpen has been solid too with Seagraves and now Mateus.
Well, and this is a tough matchup here with Boucher and Mateus. We've seen kind of documented Boucher struggle with the pitch down and away, and that's kind of Mateus's money. So expect a steady dose of fastballs and that splitty down and away.
Make it 0-2.
That would actually probably caught a little bit more of the plate than he would have liked. It backed up into the heart on the fastball. But he's got Alex buried here in this count.
Now the 0-2 pitch. Did he go? He did. Strike 3, rung up, down at first.
Yeah, and there it was, that splitty down and away. Man, it's just hard to lay off of it. I mean, it kind of is what it is. He's a guy, and that's why Mateus out of the bullpen is so effective. It's kind of a 2-pitch mix. I mean, there's not a whole lot of magic to it, right? You know what's coming. It's just, are you good enough to get to the fastball before you have to face the splitty? And if you could get him plus counts and take that splitty away from him, you've got a fighting chance. But he's been really good with it tonight, again, other than 1 pitch.
Alex Peltier, last chance for the Pirates as he nibbles in a strike. Matt Mateus in his return to a hometown who struggled last year in this matchup. East Carolina won it on a dramatic walk-off base hit. This time around, it's been the Carolina bullpen making all the difference. And a base hit continues the night. Peltier with a 3-hit performance, and he's on in scoring position.
I can't say enough positive about that young man. I mean, he really just goes to the plate with a fairly professional approach and takes what he's given, puts good swings, never looks like he gets outside of himself a whole lot or over swings, if you will, and just a nice short stroke there and takes that little splitty down in the zone into the left field corner.
So a single and back-to-back doubles for the Pirate leadoff man. And Michael Kalinic with an opportunity here in the 9th to make things really interesting.
You know, kind of interesting there. Coach Godwin came out and visited with Kalinic on his way to the plate. I'm not quite sure what you'd say other than maybe be patient. It's either going to be patient or find the fastball early. I think it's one of two messages.
Here's the first pitch. Right down the middle.
You know, there's philosophies and strategies sometimes, and we got a 2-out situation. You're chasing 3. You do have a runner on second, but do you see a strike here? Do you not see a strike? With a strike thrower like Mateus, I don't think you want to bury yourself in a count and have to face his stuff.
That time lays off a really good pitch. East Carolina won this series 2 years in a row. It's the Tar Heels who have secured the series, now looking for the sweep. But a feisty East Carolina team running the 8th, threatening here in the 9th. Here's the 1-1. Kalinic late on the splitter. Matt Mateus and this Carolina bullpen, 16 strikeouts tonight, holding the Pirates at bay. Here's the 1-2. Good foul ball.
Just shorten it up. Just try to play pepper with them, and little effort just to catch that ball with the barrel of the bat. Just keep fighting. As long as you got a chip and a chair, you're in the game. So
that head nod, the pound to the chest, you see the confidence in the battle of Kalinic, who already has reached base twice. Mateus, who grew up here in Greenville, looks to close out the night. On the 1-2. Did he go? He did not, and the runner moves to third.
Yeah, that might be one of those times where Kalinic would have preferred they call it a swing, although I do think he held. Stevenson doing everything he can behind the plate to corral that one, but you know, you potentially would have had runners on first and third there.
What could have been? Instead, the game continues where the Pirates have struggled all night, 0 for 8 in these opportunities. Can they make some magic happen here in the 9th? Mateus on 2-2. The splitter's been perfect tonight. 17 punch-outs for the Carolina staff. And the homegrown native secures the sweep for North Carolina.
You know what, Ev, the recipe for the Pirates is fairly simple. You got to eliminate the strikeouts or cut them down, at least cut them in half. At the same time, you got to eliminate the free passes that you're given from a pitching standpoint, 10 walks on the night. So you add those two together, you gave away 17 outs offensively and allowed 10 extra base runners that otherwise shouldn't have been on base. So, you know, it's pretty simple. Again, a group that is learning through games. It's on-the-job training at the highest level, and it's one of those situations these guys just have to grow into these roles. They're really, really talented, and I think they'll be fun to watch down the line, but congratulations to the Tar Heels on a great series sweep of the Pirates.
A very competitive 3-game series. These are fun matchups we love to see. ACC versus the American, and it goes to the Tar Heels winning all 3. Thanks for joining us tonight on ESPN Plus. A rare Monday night matchup. ECU got the first punch early, but all North Carolina late. A 6-3 win. These clubs both back in action. Carolina tomorrow back at home. East Carolina back at home Wednesday. For Mike Mullis, Kyle Gaskins, and our talented crew, I'm EvanBudrovich. This is a presentation of ESPN. North Carolina comes into Greenville and wins it 6-3.